Guys, we're back. Let's see what's going on here today. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over the quiet suburban street, Rodrigoz stepped out of the taxi and made his way up the familiar path. It had been. Wait, no. As he reached the door, Tom paused for a moment, his heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and anxiety. He took a deep breath, steadying himself before he reached out to knock. The door swung open, revealing Claudia standing on the other side, her eyes widening in disbelief as she stood. She took in the sight of her husband standing before her. For a moment they simply stood there, staring at each other, the weight of years of separation hanging heavy in the air between them. Then, without a word, Claudia threw her arms around Tom, pulling him straight in for a tight embrace as tears welled up in her eyes. "Oh, Tommy," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. "I've missed you so much." Tom held his wife close, feeling the warmth of her embrace wash over him like a wave of comfort and love. In that moment, all the pain and loneliness for the years he had spent behind bars melted away, replaced by a sense of belonging and homecoming that he had thought he would never feel again. As they stood there wrapped in each other's arms, Tom couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the second chance he had been given. And as he looked into Claudia's eyes, he knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together as a family once more. I suppose, welcome home, Tom Rodrigoz. W. Guys, we're back. I don't know what's going on today, but something is going on, let's say. The air hung heavy with tension as Tom's words cut through the silence like a knife, each one a cruel twist of the blade that left Claudia reeling in their wake. She stood there, her heart pounding in her chest, as the full force of the venomous washed over her, drowning her in a sea of doubt and despair. What's going on? What the hell's going on there? You're worthless, Claudia. Tom spat. Is he an abuser? Oh, what did I thought? His voice laced with contempt, a burden, a liability. I don't know why I even bothered with you. His words struck like a physical blow, knocking the breath from her lungs and leaving her gasping for air. How could he say such thing? She wondered. His once gentle touch replaced by the cold sting of his scorn. But even as her mind recoiled from the onslaught, another voice whispered in a recess of mind, a voice she barely recognised as her own. "Maybe he's right," it murmured, its insidious tone wrapping itself around her like a thoughts, like a vice. "Maybe you are worthless after all." The voice sent a shiver down Claudia's spine, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and self-loathing. How had it come to this, she wondered, her once happy marriage reduced to ashes by the fires of Tom's cruelty. But even as she grappled with the enormity of the truth, another part of her rebelled against the darkness, refusing to be consumed by its suffocating embrace. For deep down, she knew she was worth more than the sum of Tom's cruel words, worth more than the pain he inflicted upon her with every colliest bar. With a newfound sense of determination, Claudia squared her shoulders and met Tom's gaze head on. Go on, Claudia. Her eyes blazing with a fire he had never seen before. "I may be many things, Tom, but I am not worthless, and I refuse to let you treat me this any longer." Her words hung in the air like a challenge, a gauntlet thrown down at Tom's feet, and he recoiled from the strength in her gaze. Claudia knew she had taken the first step on a journey toward reclaiming her dignity, her self-worth, and her freedom from the shackles of his abuse. I knew. I hit him. Guys, we're back with Tom Rodrigoz. Claudia sits hunched over at the kitchen table, her hands trembling as she tries to hold back tears. Tom's words echo in her mind, a relentless barrage of insults and vigilant that chip away at her already fragile sense of self-worth. "You're nothing but filth," Tom's voice sneers from across the room, each word laced with venom. "A worthless piece of garbage that no one could ever love." Claudia flinches at the sound of his voice, her heart hammering in her chest as she struggles to maintain her composure. She knows she could stand up for herself, to tell Tom that her words are cruel and undeserved. But the years of conditioning have taken their toll, leaving her paralysed with fear and self-doubt. As Tom's tirade continues, Claudia's mind drifts back to the early days of their relationship, when his words were filled with love and affection. She remembers the promises he made, the dreams they shared of a future together, but those memories feel like a distant echo.
To his head.
of verbal abuse. Claudia rises from the table and retreats from the sanctuary of her bedroom. Seeking solace in this sonnet, she knows that Tom's words will continue to haunt her long after he's gone, but she refuses to let him define her. Deep down, she holds onto a glimmer of hope that someday she could break free.
I met Ezekiel Young from Salt Lake City about 2 years ago, and he told me he was single, and we hit it off right away. So we started living together. He'd go to work, he'd come home, I'd fix him a drink, we'd have dinner, and then I found out.
I don't know what to do.
Single, he told me. Single my ass. Not only was he married, oh no, he had 6 wives. One of those Mormons, you know. So that night when he came home from work, I fixed him his drink.
I wish I could do this to Tom Rodrigoz.
You know, some guys just can't hold their arsenic.
Right, we're back, guys. Seriously, we're back. Like, ugh. Claudia sits quietly on the edge. New week. Claudia sits quietly on the edge of of the sofa, her eyes fixed on the floor as Tom's harsh words echoed through the room. "You're so weak, Claudia," Tom sneers, his voice dripping with contempt. "Pathetic, really. I don't know why I bother with you." Each word feels like a dagger to Claudia's heart, but she refuses to let Tom see how deeply his words affect her. She clenches her fists tightly in her lap, her knuckles turning white as she tries to maintain her composure. But despite her best efforts, tears begin to well up in Claudia's eyes, silently betraying the pain she's been trying so hard to conceal. She hates herself for letting Tom get to her like this, for allowing him to chip away at her self-esteem day after day. Tom's relentless barrage of insults continues, each one more cutting than the last. He knows exactly which buttons to push to make Claudia feel small and insignificant, and he takes persuasive pleasure in tearing her down. But as much as Tom's words hurt, Claudia knows deep down that they don't define her. She's stronger than he'll ever give her credit for, and one day she'll find the courage to break free from his toxic influence. For now, though, she'll endure his abuse in silence, clinging to the hope that someday she'll find a way out of this nightmare and reclaim her life. Until then, she'll steel herself against Tom's verbal assaults, knowing that she's stronger than he'll ever be. Go on, Claudia. Tom Rodrigoz is an evil, evil man. Guys, we're back. As the students of Melodrama High gathered in the auditorium for a special assembly, whispers filled the air, anticipation mounting as they awaited the announcement of their new principal. Suddenly, the doors at the back of the room swung open, and a figure strode confidently down the aisle toward the stage. Gasps rippled through the crowd as the students recognised the familiar face of Tom Rodrigoz, now standing before them as the newly appointed principal. Tom Rodrigoz is the principal of Melodrama High. Are you kidding me? He's so evil. Oh my god. Murmurs of confusion and disbelief filled the room as Tom took his place at the podium, a self-satisfied smirk playing on his lips. "Good morning, students," Tom began, his voice carrying effortlessly over the hushed murmurs of the crowd. "I am pleased to announce that I will be taking over as your new principal." "Be quiet, you evil, abusing bitch." A wave of unease washed over the audience as Tom's words sank in. Whispers of concern and appreciation spreading around among the students. Memories of Tom's previous but Tom paid no heed to the growing tension in the room, his gaze sweeping over the assembled students with a steely determination. "Under my leadership, we will uphold the highest standards of discipline and excellence," he declared, his voice ringing with conviction. "Together we will ensure that Melodrama High remains a place of order and respect." As Tom's speech continued, the atmosphere of the auditorium grew increasingly tense. The students exchanged worried glances as they comprehended the implications of his appointment. Little did they know, Tom's reign as principal would usher in a new era of darkness and tyranny at Melodrama High. Ah! Oh my god, bro! I told you can't trust that guy, he's evil, he's a melon! He's gonna destroy Melodrama High! What if there's an explosion at the school or something? Guys, I'm so sad, like, seriously. As the students shuffled through the crowded hallways of Melodrama High between classes, Jordan Robinson found himself at the centre of attention when Principal Tom Rodrigoz intercepted his path. "Jordan," Tom's voice cut through the bustling chatter, commanding his attention as he stepped into the path with a stern expression. Jordan's heart skipped a beat as he glanced up, his eyes meeting Tom's steely gaze. "Principal Rodrigoz," she replied. "Yeah." "Wait, what?" "Principal Rodrigoz," he replied, his tone cautious as he I've read too many there. Braced herself for whatever confronts lay ahead. "I've been hearing some disturbing reports about your behaviour, Jordan," Tom continued, his voice low and authoritative. "Rumours of disruptive behaviour in class and a blatant disregard for school rules." "What?" "Yeah, he called my girlfriend pedophile." Jordan's stomach churned with unease as he struggled to force a response, his mind racing to recall any recent infractions that might have caught Tom's attention. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Principal Rodrigoz," Jordan replied, his voice tingled with uncertainty. "I've been trying to stay out of trouble and focus on my studies." Tom's gaze bore down on him with unwavering intensity, his expression inscrutable as he studied his reaction. "I'll be keeping a close eye on you, Jordan," he warned, his voice laced with a "Any more slip-ups and there will be consequences." With that ominous warning, Tom turned his heel and strode away, leaving Jordan standing in the hallway, feeling shaken and apprehensive. As he watched him disappear into the crowd, a sinking feeling settled into the pit of his stomach, signaling that his troubles at Melodrama High were far from over. Oh my god! Melodrama High story's going crazy. Like, I don't know what to think about this, but oh my god. Oh my god! Ah! Go crazy! No! Melodrama High. Oh my god. Guys, we're back. I don't know what's going on, but this is crazy. And let's say, the halls of Melodrama High were thrown into chaos as Matthew stormed through the double doors, his eyes ablaze with fury. Oh shoot. Students and teachers alike turned to stare, startled by the sudden intrusion and the palpable tension in the air. With determined strides, Matthew made his way through the crowded corridors, his gaze fixed on one person, his father, Tom Rodrigoz, the new principal of Melodrama High. Tom stood at the end of the hallway, his expression a mixture of surprise and disapproval as he watched his son approach. Without a word, Matthew closed the distance between them, his fist clenched at his sides. He stopped just inches away from Tom, his chest heaving with anger as he stared down at the man who had caused him so much pain. "Matthew, what are you doing here?" Tom demanded, his voice tight with irritation. But Matthew didn't respond. Instead, he drew back his arm and delivered a powerful punch to his father's jaw. Oh, I'm sorry, but Tom does deserve that. But whoa, the sound of impacts echoing through the hallway. Tom staggered back and caught off guard by the sudden assault, his hand flying to his face as he stumbled. "You're a disgrace," Tom spat, his words laced with venom as he straightened himself, his gaze cold and unforgiving. But Matthew didn't stick around to hear more. With one last look of contempt, he turned on his heel and stormed out of the school, leaving a stunned silence in his wake. The students and teachers watched in disbelief as he disappeared from sight, his anger leaving a blunt tension hanging in the air. "Bro, is Matthew going on a flipping warpath right now? I don't know, he punched his father, punched Pastor Clayton. What is going on?" I'm so scared. To be continued. Guys, we're back so far. Next week is also the continuation of something, but let's see what's going on here for the finale of this week one. Jill's heart shattered into a million pieces as she learned the truth about her mother, Vanessa. The woman who had raised her, loved her, and guided her had been involved in unspeakable, her betrayal cut Jill to the core. Shelby's breath caught her in the throat as she discovered the truth about her brother Harvey's death. The brother she had once idolised had been taken from her by the very person she had come to despise the most, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. The devastating news of her son Jay's murder, he's dead, hit Jennifer like a physical blow, her world crumbling around her as she struggled to come to terms with the senseless loss of her beloved boy. Clara's mind reeled as she learned the truth about Matthew's crimes. The man she had once loved had been responsible for so much pain and suffering, his actions staining her memories with darkness and betrayal. In the midst of the chaos, one fact stood out above all the rest. Tom Rodrigoz, the man they all knew, was the father of the monster who destroyed their lives. The realization sent shockwaves through the group, leaving them reeling with the weight of their collective betrayal. Bruh, he ran down a child. He needs to be got. Matthew needs his comeuppance. Stage set 2. Let's see what Tom Rodrigoz was doing. Did Tom Rodrigoz kill him? Detective Miller sat across from Tom Rodrigoz, his expression serious as he prepared to interview him about the events at Melodrama High. Tom's hands were clenched tightly at his lap, his jaw set with determination. "Mr. Rodrigoz, thank you for coming in today," Detective Miller began. He's the new detective, by the way, after Michael Jackson. I don't even want to talk about him. Yeah, probably. "I understand you were involved in the situation at Melodrama High School. Can you tell me what happened?" Tom took a deep breath, his mind flooded with memories of that fateful night. "Yes, of course," he replied, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. "I received a call about a disturbance at the school, and when I arrived I found chaos unfolding." He recounted the frantic scene at the school, describing how Matthew had barged in, his eyes wild with rage. It was out of control, Tom recalled, his voice tingled with a hint of disbelief. "He was threatening everyone, and I knew I had to try to stop him." As he spoke, Tom's gaze drifted to the floor, his mind replaying the events of that night. "I confronted him," he continued, his voice streaming with emotion. I tried to reason with him, to calm him down, but he wouldn't listen. He was beyond reason." Detective Miller nodded, his expression sympathetic. "And did you have any contact with Matthew after that?" Tom shook his head, a shadow crossing his features. "No," he replied quietly. "After he left the school, I didn't see him again." The detective regarded him thoughtfully for a moment before speaking again. "Thank you, Mr. Rodrigoz," he said, his tone respectful. "I know this must be difficult for you, but your cooperation is greatly appreciated." As Tom left the interview room, his mind was reeled with questions and uncertainty. Had he done enough to stop Matthew, or had he failed to prevent the tragedy that followed? Only time would tell. Let's see the next interview. Alright, we're back, guys. Let's see what's going on here. As Principal Tom Rodrigoz strolled through the school halls of Melodrama High, his eyes lingered on Jordan Robinson. There was potential there, he thought, a spark of leadership waiting to be ignited. In their private conversations, Tom carefully crafted his words, subtly feeding Jordan's ambition. He praised his intelligence, his charisma, and his natural ability to lead. With each conversation, Jordan's confidence grew, fueled by Tom's encouragement. Unbeknownst to Jordan, Tom's intentions were far from noble. Behind his facade of mentorship lay a darker agenda. He saw Jordan as a pawn in his game of power, a means to further his own ambitions within the school. With calculated precision, Tom began to manipulate Jordan's perception of himself and his place in the school history. Under Tom's guidance, Jordan began to take on more responsibilities, leading school events and representing the student body in meetings. With each new task, Jordan felt a sense of validation, a confirmation of his potential. Little did he know he was being groomed for Tom's own purposes, his loyalty unwittingly pledged by the principal's hidden agenda. As Jordan's trust in Tom grew, so too did the principal's influence over him. With each passing day, Tom tightened his grip on Jordan, subtly guiding his decisions and shaping his worldview. And as Jordan rose in prominence within the school, Tom watched with satisfaction, knowing that his plan was unfolding exactly as he had envisioned. Oh my god. Guys, remember, Tom Rodrigoz, the principal of Melodrama, has been manipulating Jordan Robinson, and literally let's see what's going on. In the dimly lit hallway of Melodrama High, Tom Rodrigoz cornered Claudia, his voice dripping with contempt as he uttered the words, "You're nothing but an old witch, Claudia." He sneered. He sneered, his eyes out with malice, a relic of the past clinging to your illusions of relevance. Claudia recoiled at his words, her heart sinking with each cruel insult. She had endured Tom's verbal assaults before, but they still cut deep, leaving wounds that festered long after he had left. She clenched her fist, fighting to maintain her composure at his face of his relentless attacks. But Tom was relentless, his words like daggers aimed at Claudia's fragile sense of self-worth. "You think you can challenge me?" he continued, his voice rising with each word. "You're nothing but a pathetic old woman clinging to your delusions of power." Despite the pain and humiliation, Claudia refused to back down. She squared her shoulders, meeting Tom's gaze with steely determination. She would not let him break her. Not this time. She would find the strength to endure his cruelty for the sake of herself and those who looked at her for guidance. Evil man. Guys, we're back with evil Tom Rodrigoz. As Tom stepped into their home, the heavy weight of his anger seemed to suffocate the air around him. His eyes cold in curiosity found Claudia standing in the living room, her posture tense with impersonation. "You," he spat out, his voice laced with venom. "You're the reason our son Matthew is dead." Claudia recoiled at his words, her heart breaking at the raw pain and grief in his voice. She had already blamed herself thousands of times over her son's tragic demise, but to hear Tom lay the blame squarely at her feet was a crushing blow. "No, Tom," she pleaded, her voice trembling with emotion. "It wasn't my fault. We both loved Andrew." Andrew? I'm getting confused. Matthew. But Tom's rage was unrelenting, his eyes burning with unbridled fury. "Don't you dare try to absolve yourself of guilt," he spat out, advancing menacingly towards her. "You failed him. You failed our family." Tears welled up in Claudia's eyes as she staggered back, the weight of Tom's accusation crushing her spirit. She knew deep down that she would never be able to escape the guilt of losing their son, but to have Tom hurl it at her like a weapon was almost more than she could ever bear. Guys, we're back with abuser Tom Rodrigoz, right? I don't know who's worse, Max Cooper or Tom. Nah, Tom, 100%. He's been also manipulating thing, but I don't know. Nah, but he hasn't been, I don't know. Both are evil. Tom's voice cut through the air like a jagged knife, with each dripping word with a venomous hatred. "You're worthless, Claudia," he hissed, his eyes ablaze with an unholy fire. "You should just die and spare us all the agony of your existence." Claudia recoiled, her heart pounding in her chest as his words pierced her soul. She had endured his verbal assaults countless times before, but this was a new low, a level of cruelty that left her feeling utterly defenseless. Tears streamed down her cheeks as he stumbled backward, the weight of her words crushing her spirit. "Tom, please," she begged, her voice choked with emotion. "Don't say that. I can't bear it." But Tom's expressions remained cold and unyielding, his features twisted in a mask of contempt. "You're pathetic," he spat out, his voice laced with disgust. "You're nothing but a burden, dragging us all down with your weakness." Claudia felt as if the walls were closing in around her, suffocating the new weight of Tom's hatred. She knew she would fight back, stand up for herself against his tirade, but the sheer magnitude of his cruelty left her paralysed with fear. As Tom's words echoed in the silence of the room, Claudia felt a profound sense of despair wash over her. She knew she couldn't escape the prison of her own mind, trapped in a cycle of abuse that seemed to have no end. Evil man. Okay, we're back, and seriously, another villain, bro. Seriously, what's it with all these villains this year? I'm sorry, okay? In the dimly lit corridors of Melodrama High, Principal Tom Rodrigoz prowled like a predator, his eyes scanning the bustling hallways for his next unsuspecting prey. He had a reputation for being a cunning manipulator. Yeah, another manipulator, yep. And he realised every opportunity to exercise his power over the precious minds of his students. As he spotted Jordan Robinson lingering near his locker, Tom's lips curled into a sinister smile. Jordan was the perfect target. Impressionable, eager to please, and utterly unaware of the principal's ulterior motives. With calculated precision, Tom approached the unsuspecting teenager, his charming facade firmly in place. "Jordan, my boy." "What?" he said, his voice dripping with false sincerity. "I couldn't help but notice that you've been excelling in your classes lately. You have a bright future ahead of you, and I want to help you reach your full potential." Jordan's eyes lit up at the praise, his chest swelling with pride at the prospect of earning the approval of his esteemed principal. Little did he know that Tom's words were laced with deceit, that every compliment was carefully calculated to further the principal's own agenda. But Tom was a master manipulator, adept at a weaving of web of lies to ensure his unsuspecting victims. With a smooth and practiced hand, he planted seeds of doubt in Jordan's mind, subtly manipulating him into believing that his success was owed entirely to the principal's guidance. As Jordan nodded eagerly, oblivious to the web of deception being spun around him, Tom's smile widened into a predatory grin. He had Jordan firmly under his thumb now, a pawn in his twisted game of manipulation and control, and as long as the young man remained blissfully unaware of the principal's true intentions, Tom knew he would continue to pull the strings from behind the scenes, his power over Jordan growing with each passing day. Bro, and the fact he's a principal, at Melodrama High just makes it so much worse. I can't take this anymore. Right, guys, we're back. Seriously, let's see what's going on. In the comfort of their home, Jordan finally mustered the courage to confide in his mother Jill about the secret meetings with Principal Tom. No way, go on, Jordan, lad. Go on. Is he going to expose him? With a heavy heart and a voice tingling with a princess, he revealed the unsettling truth, hoping for understanding guidance from the one person he trusted above all others. No way is he going to actually rule. Jill listened intensely, her brow furrowing in concern as Jordan recounted his encounters with Tom. Her maternal instincts kicked into overdrive, a fierce determination igniting with her to protect her son from whatever nefarious schemes the principal might be plotting. As Jordan's words hung in the air, a tense silence descended over the room, the weight of the revelation lingering like a dark cloud. But in that moment, a steely resolve settled over Jill, her material instincts propelling her into action as she vowed to confront Tom head on and put an end to his manipulation once and for all. Oh my god, wait, tomorrow. Oh my god, tomorrow's the last melodrama of the week. Are we going to have a to be continued, or is it the end of Tom Rodrigo's evil lies? I don't know. It feels like it's... Tomorrow might be an unmissable melodrama. Seriously, is Jill's going to confront evil Tom Rodrigoz? Oh, fireworks! Bro, Jordan has finally mustered the courage to tell his Jill about the evil master manipulator at Principal Melodrama High. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Oh my god, guys, seriously, like, oh my god. Everybody, get off your phones right now and look at this. Because you might be watching on your phones. Don't. But if you're watching on the TV or something, do get off your phones. In an intense showdown at Melodrama High, Jill confronted Tom Rodrigoz. Oh my god. Her voice quivering with a mix of anger and concern as she accused him of manipulating her son, Jordan. Her eyes blazed with determination, her material instincts driving her to protect Jordan at all costs. Tom's facade of authority cracked under Jill's piercing gaze, his expression shifting from smugness to unease as her accusations hit their mark. But instead of backing down, Jill stood her ground. Good on you, Jill. Her voice rising with each word as he demanded that Tom stay away from her son and cease his manipulation tactics immediately. The confrontation sent shockwaves through the school. Bystanders pausing in their tracks like Boglow and Luke watched on to witness the fiery exchange between principal and parent. But Jill's unwavering resolve remained unshaken. Her fierce determination to protect her son and her son overpowering any fear of doubt. As the confrontation reached its climax, Tom's facade crumbled completely, his mask of authority slipping away to reveal the cowardness beneath. With a final warning ringing in his ears, he slunk away, defeated for now, but undoubtedly plotting his next move in the shadows. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bro, she actually kind of took down Tom Rodrigoz today. Oh my god, I think I need to pop over the cream soda for that. Oh my god, Tommy Jill Robinson. Oh my god. I feel so happy for Joe Robinson flipping taking down flipping. But I don't know. He is an abuser. He's been abusing poor Claudia at home, so he's definitely gonna want a revenge. You know what I mean? He's a villain, he's gonna want revenge on Jill. Is Jill in danger? Oh shit. Guys, we're gonna flip a cream soda because fireworks are igniting right now, bro. Fireworks are igniting. It's a new week. Tom Rodrigoz was taken down last week and it seems like a feud is about to ignite. Oh my god. The air crackled with tension as Tom Rodrigo's car rolled to a stop outside the Robinson family household. Jill's heart skipped a beat as she watched him step out, his presence casting a shadow of fear over her and Jordan. With a menacing glint in his eyes, Tom approached them, his voice dripping with malice as he hurled threats their way. He spoke of destruction, of unraveling their lives by thread by thread until nothing remained but wreckage. Jill's jaw clenched, her maternal instincts roaring to life in defense of her family. But Jordan stood tall beside her, his defense mirrored in his eyes as he faced down the man who dared to threaten them. Though fear gnawed at his insides, he refused to cower behind Tom's invidious tactics, determined to protect his mother and himself from any harm. In the standoff that ensued, the power dynamic shifted, with Tom's facade of authority crumbling in the face of Jill's and Jordan's united front. Though his threats hung heavy in the air, they refused to be intimidated, standing firm in their resolve to weather whatever storm he brought. But guys, oh my god, this is a to be continued because Tom Rodrigoz is probably going to flip and be, I don't know, it seems like he's threatening the Robinson family. Jill needs to report him to the police now. Okay guys, we're literally back. And seriously, Tom Rodrigoz is still flipping being a manipulator to Jill. Right. Tom Rodrigo's arrival in Jill's father's neighbourhood sent a shiver down the spine of everyone who knew him. Wait, George! Oh my god, the racist. Did he get away? I forgot about him. His steps were purposeful as he sought out one of the racist friends. What? A man who bigotry matched out that of Jill's strange father. Oh my god. No way is he going to George. What the hell? Leaning in close, Tom whispered something that sent a chill down the man's veins. It was a secret, a venomous seed planted in the fertile soil of hatred and resentment. With a knowing nod, the man absorbed Tom's words, his lips curling in a wicked grin as he contemplated the havoc they could wreak. As Tom slipped away into his car, the man wasted no time spreading the poison of Tom's words among his fellow racists, igniting a firestorm of bigotry and animosity that threatened to consume everything in its path. It was a dirty plan, one born of malice and fueled by vengeance, and its consequences would be felt far and wide. Oh my god, what the fuck is flipping Tom plan? Bro. Nah, get Tom out now. Get Tom out now. Can we just talk about the amount of villains we have right now? Toby. We've got Malone. We've got Tom. Who else we got? Well, you wouldn't call Samson a villain. Who else you got? Who else you got? I feel like there's another villain. George. Nah, too many. Their comeuppance is coming. Has to be. Right, guys, we're back. Oh my god, holy crap. The racist. What the fuck? Embodied by Tom's whispered instructions. What? He instructed him something. What did he do? Approached Jill's house with an ominous glint in his eyes. Knocking on the door, he waited with barely concealed impatience until Jill appeared. Her expression shifting from confusion to shock as she registered his presence. With a sneer, the man spat out a vile accusation, calling Jill a junkie. With all the venom he could muster, the words hung heavy in the air, staining the sincerity of Jill's home with their toxicity. Before she could even respond, the man turned on his heel and stalked away, leaving Jill reeling from the unexpected verbal assault. As the door slammed shut behind him, Jill was left to grapple with the harsh reality of Tom's dirty plan, the wounds of his betrayal cutting deeper than she could have ever imagined. Hang on. So, what did Tom want to... Racist thing. Well, Jill, I'm sorry, but yeah, Jill, you are kind of a junkie, though. You have to admit you are a former junkie. So, not at the moment, though, so, yeah. Bro, Tom just gets into people's heads. That's all Tom Rodrigoz does. He needs to take it down right now, but I'm done with all these villains. Guys, we're back, seriously. Tom Rodrigoz, just keep this week, bro. Tom Rodrigoz is just getting his revenge. This is just the revenge of Tom Rodrigoz. Like, what day is it now? What day is it? I think it's Thursday, right? So, most of this week is flipping just literally right. In a saluted corner of the school, Tom Rodrigoz cornered Jordan Robinson, his expression twisted in a malicious sneer, with venom dripping from his words. He hissed into Jordan's ear, planting seeds of doubt and fear. Your mum, he began, his voice low and menacing. She's not who you think she is. She's a drug addict, Jordan. A junkie. Oh my god, he told you! Oh my god, this is bad. Jordan's eyes widened in disbelief, his heart pounding with a mixture of confusion and dread. The words hung heavy in the air, casting a dark shadow over his perspective of his own mother. Tom's insidious manipulation threatened to tear apart the fabric of his trust and love for Jill. As Tom slithered away, leaving Jordan to grapple with a devastating revelation. The weight of his words settled like a heavy stone in the pit of Jordan's stomach. The bond between mother and son, once unbreakable, now felt fragile and tenuous, shattered by Tom's cruel deception. Tomorrow's the finale of this week, so let me guess, probably about Tom again as well. Tom, you're a bitch. Right guys, we're back. This is what's going on. With a turbulent storm brewing inside him, Jordan sought out his mother Jill, his footsteps heavy with the weight of the accusation lodged in his mind. Finding her in the kitchen, he approached with a mix of appreciation and determination. "Mum," he began, his voice trembling slightly with emotion, "I need to talk to you." Jill turned to face him, her warm smile faltering as she noticed the turmoil in his eyes. Sensing the gravity of the moment, she set aside what she was doing and gave him her full attention. "What's wrong, Jordan?" she asked. Concern etched her into features. Taking a deep breath to steady himself, Jordan braced himself for the difficult conversation ahead. "Tom," he said something. He started, his voice wavering on slightly. "About you, he said you're a drug addict." The words hung heavy in the air, heavy with accusation and disbelief. Jill's expression shifted from concern to shock, her eyes widening in disbelief as the venomous lie spun by Tom. "But it's not really a lie, I'm just being honest." With a surge of protective instinct, Jill reached out and took Jordan's hand in hers, her gaze unwavering. "Jordan, listen to me," she said firmly, her voice steady despite the turmoil. "That's not true. Tom is lying, trying to manipulate you. You know me. You know who I am. I could never. Jill, it's true though, you are." Her words trailed off, choked by the swell of emotion threatened to overwhelm her. But in that moment, as Jordan looked into his mother's eyes, he saw the truth shining bright and wavering, but it's kinda not the truth. With a newfound resolve, Jordan nodded, a weight of lifting from his shoulders as he embraced the unwavering trust and love he had for his mother. Together they would weather this storm and take down Tom Rodrigoz for good. Oh my god. See you next week. This is getting good. It's a new week of Melodrama and stuff is going down, so seriously. Little recap last week. Tom wanted his revenge. So a week before that, Jordan finally told Jill Robinson about Tom Rodrigo's manipulation, and she confronted him in Melodrama High, exposing him. But I think he still has the job either way. It was just like accusations and all, right? And Jill, then he rocked up at the Robinson house, threatened them. Then he went to Jill's childhood neighbourhood, the racist, told a racist to go and call her a junkie, then told Jordan the truth about her being a junkie, and then Jordan confronted her. So that's just a wee recap. So I think I think Tom is continuing to spread lies about Jill Robinson and these racist accusations and junkie accusations about her. So he's literally just doing this for revenge. Fueled by righteous intent, Jill wasted no time in taking action against Tom's malicious slander. "No way, go on, Jill." With a steely resolve, she stormed into the offices of Melodrama High, her heart pounding with righteous fury. Demanding to see the principal, she refused to deter by the indifferent glances at the receptionist. When Tom finally emerged from his office, she fixed him with a glare that could cut through steel. "Tom," she began, a voice trembling with suppose, "we need to talk now." Tom's state of authority faltered slightly as the force of Jill's intensity, but he quickly regained his composure, a smirk tugging at the corner of his lips. "Of course, Jill," he replied smoothly, his tone dripping with false sincerity. "Let's step into my office." As they entered the office and the door clicked shut behind them, Jill wasted no time in unleashing her fury. With a torrent of accusations and righteous anger, she laid bare Tom's deceitful manipulations, each word a dagger aimed at his carefully constructed facade. "You will not get away with this," she spat, her voice trembling with rage. "I will not stand idly by while you spread lies about me and my family." Tom's expression hardened, his facade of charm crumbling in the face of Jill's unwavering resolve. But even as she attempted to deflect and deny, Jill refused to back down. By the time she stormed into the office, her complaint filed and her resolve unyielding. Jill knew that the battle was far from over, but with each step she took, she moved forward with renewed purpose, ready to fight tooth and nail to protect her family and her reputation from Tom's toxic manipulation. Seriously. Oh my god, she reported Tom. Is he going to lose his job? Oh my god, this getting good. Right guys, we're back, and seriously, stuff's getting down. So remember, yesterday, Jill made a complaint about evil Tom Rodrigoz. This was going on. As Tom Rodrigoz sat in the stark conference room facing the stern members of the school board, the weight of Jill's accusation hung heavy in the air. His typically confident demeanour faltered slightly under the weight of their scrutiny, but he maintained a facade of composure, his jaw set in a stubborn line. "Mr. Rodrigoz," began one of the board members, her voice laced with thinly veiled disdain. "We have received a serious complaint against you regarding an allegation of misconduct and slander." Tom's heart pounded in his chest as he listened to the accusations being levelled against him. Each were a damning incident of his actions, but even as he attempted to defend himself, the member of the board remained unmoved, their expressions stony and unyielding. After what felt like an eternity of grueling interrogation, the board finally reached their verdict. With a solemn expression, the chairman delivered their decision. "Mr. Rodrigoz, in the light of the evidence presented and the seriousness of the allegations, the board has decided to issue you a formal strike," he announced, his voice echoing in the tense silence of the room. Tom felt a surge of relief wash over him at the news that he wouldn't be fired. Oh, God damn it! But it was tempered by the knowledge that his actions had consequences. As he left the conference room, his mind raced with thoughts of the future, knowing that he would have to tread carefully if he hoped to salvage his reputation and regain the trust of the school community. Okay, your manipulation, evil man. Alright guys, we're back. This is what's going on. In the cold light of day, the intensity of their illicit encounter faded, replaced by a stark reminder of the consequences they faced. Tom Rodrigoz's demeanour had shifted. His once charming facade now replaced by a cold and calculating expression. Leaning in close, his voice dripping with venom, Tom's words cut through the silence like a knife. "You shouldn't have reported me, Jill," he hissed, the threat implicit of his tone. "You made a grave mistake and you'll live to regret it." "What?" Jill's heart pounded in her chest as she met his daily gaze, refusing to back down despite the fear that quailed in the pit of her stomach. She knew she had crossed a dangerous line by reporting Tom's misconduct, but she refused to cower in the face of his intimidation tactics and manipulation. Summoning every ounce of courage she possessed, Jill squared her shoulders and met Tom's gaze head on. "I did what was right," she declared, her voice steady despite the turmoil raging within her. "And I'll do it again if I have to." Tom's eyed narrowed, a dangerous glint flickering in her eyes as he assessed her with a newfound sense of malice. "We'll see about that," he spat, his threat hanging in the air like a dark omen. As Jill watched him stalk away, a chill ran down her spine, the weight of his words lingering long as she had gone. She knew she had just crossed a powerful enemy, but she refused to be intimidated. Whatever lay across, she was determined to face it with courage and resolve. But Tom came back to be continued. Oh God, that's a shock. Alright guys, we're back. Let's see what's going on. Tom returned with a smug smirk, his eyes gleaming with arrogance. "You've made a grave mistake, Jill," he taunted, his voice dripping with concert. So this is like, I don't know, remember he turned back, remember that? But Jill was no longer the timid woman he once knew. With determination blazing in her eyes, she grabbed Tom by the chin. Her grip firm and unwavering. "You think you can intimidate me? She countered, her voice steady despite the storm brewing inside her. "You're sorely mistaken, Tom. I can play just as dirty as you." Oh my God, this is getting crazy. Tom's smirk faltered, replaced by a flicker of uncertainty. He hadn't expected Jill to stand up to him so boldly. "You don't know what you're getting yourself into," he warned, his tone tingled with menace. But Jill refused to back down. "I know exactly what I'm doing," she declared, her voice tinged with defiance, "and I won't let you manipulate me or anyone else anymore." With that, Jill released her grip on Tom's chin and walked away, leaving him to ponder the newfound strength that burned within her. From that moment on, Tom knew that Jill was no longer under his control. Oh my goodness. Stuff's about to go down. Right guys, we're back. What is going on? As the moon casts an eerie glow over the Robinson family garden, the night seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the impending darkness to unfold. In the stillness of the night, a shadowy figure slinked through the bushes, a sinister grin playing upon his lips. Tom Rodrigoz, what is he playing at now? Consumed by his maleficent schemes, moved with purpose as he carefully placed small package of drugs amidst the foliage. His eyes gleam with mystery intent as he imagines the chaos that will ensue once his plan comes to fusion. With each packet strategically positioned, Tom stepped back, a wicked satisfaction coursing through his veins. He knew that soon the unsuspecting Robinson family would fall victim to his twisted malicious, their lives upended by the sinister seeds he had sown. As he disappeared into the night, leaving behind only whispers of his swing, Tom Rodrigoz revelled in the knowledge that the dark legacy would live on, casting a shadow over the once in a Robinson household. I'm just sorry, but he needs to go down. Tom Rodrigoz needs to go down. I'm sorry, but if I had to think, it's going to be Tom Rodrigoz, probably Malone. There's so many. You got Tom Rodrigoz at the top, definitely. Tied for second would be Malone and Toby. Right, guys, we're back. Tom Rodrigoz, oh my god, he's back. Venomous words cut through the air like a knife as he stands towering over Claudia, his eyes ablaze with anger. You're worthless, Claudia. He snarls, his voice dripping with contempt. I should strangle you right here and now for all the trouble you're caused me. Claudia recoils, her heart pounding in her chest as she shrinks back from Tom's menacing pressure. She knows his threats are not to be taken lightly, but she refuses to let him see her fear. You're sick, Tom, she retorts, her voice in. You'll never break me. But Tom only sneers, his twisted grin sending shivers down Claudia's spine. We'll see about that. With a final chilling glare, he turns and stalks out of the room, leaving Claudia alone with her fear and the suffocating weight of his maleficence hanging in the air. To be continued. Bro, all these people, bro. I don't know. Right, guys, we're back. Tom's voice cuts through the air like a whip. His words filled with contempt as he addresses Claudia. You're nothing but a weak woman, he spits out, his tone dripping with disdain. Claudia feels a surge of anger and frustration rise within her at his Claudia's words. She clenches her fists, struggling to maintain her composure in the face of his verbal assault. But instead of allowing herself to be consumed by his toxicity, Claudia draws upon her inner strength. With a deviant glare, she meets Tom's gaze head on. I may be a woman, she retorts, her voice trembling, but I am not weak. I refuse to let your narrow mind-headed define me. Tom's lip curls in a sneer. You're deluding yourself. But Claudia refuses to back down. She stands tall, refusing to let Tom's words diminish her worth. Deep down, she knows her strength lies not in his perception of her, but in her unwavering resilience. To be continued. Go on. Go on, Claudia. Stand up to that evil, evil man. We'll see what happens next. We're back. Claudia's mind churns with determination as she devises a plan to finally bring down Tom Rodrigoz. She knows she can't continue to endure his abuse and she refuses to let him continue to hold power over her. With a steely resolve, Claudia begins to lay the groundwork for her scheme. She gathers evidence of Tom's wrongdoing, documenting every instance of his abusive behaviour and manipulation. But she knows that mere documentation won't be enough to topple a man as cunning as Tom. She needs leverage, something that will expose his true nature to the world. As she pieces together her plan, Claudia realises she can't do it alone. She reaches out to allies, confiding and trusted friends who share her disdain for Tom. Together they form a clan alliance, pulling their resources and knowledge to expose Tom's misdeeds. They work tirelessly, methodically dismantling his carefully constructed facade. And finally, the day of reckoning arrives. Armed with evidence and unwavering, Claudia confronts Tom, laying bare the truth for all to see. In a stunning twist of fate, Tom's reign of terror comes to an abrupt end as Claudia's plan unfolds with devastating precision and distrust. Claudia stands victorious. To be continued. Is it really going to be over that fast? We're back. Oh my god. With a trembling hand, Claudia dials the number of Melodrama high. Her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and determination as the phone rings on the other end. She takes a deep breath, steeling herself for what's to come. Melodrama, hi, how can I help you? A voice answers on the other end. Claudia's voice wavers slightly as he speaks. Hello, this is Claudia. I need to speak with someone in authority about an urgent matter regarding Principal Tom Rodrigoz. There's a brief pause on the line before the number. Of course, Claudia, I'll transfer you to the appropriate department. Please hold. Claudia's pulse quickens as she waits, her mind racing with her decision, but she knows she's doing the right thing. She can't allow Tom's abuse to control unchecked, not when there are so many vulnerable students and staff at the school. Finally, a new voice comes on the line. This is Detective Reynolds with the school licensing unit. How can I assist you today? Taking a deep breath, Claudia begins to recount the years of abuse and manipulation she's endured at the hands of Principal Tom Rodrigoz. She lays bare the truth, providing details of his verbal assaults, threats, and intimidation tactics. As she speaks, Claudia can feel the weight lifting off her shoulders. The burden of silence finally being lifted. She knows there will be challenges ahead, but she's determined. And as she hangs up the phone, Claudia feels a sense of relief wash over her. She's taken the first step towards justice, and she won't rest until Tom Rodrigoz is held accountable for his actions. To be continued. Right, guys, we're back. Tom Rodrigoz stands outside Melodrama High. The weight of his actions heavy upon his shoulders as he stares at the building he once ruled with his iron fist. News of his firing echoes in his mind, a bitter reminder of the consequences of his reign of terror. Seething remains, Tom storms away from the school, his fists clenched at his sides. He knows he's lost everything, his power, his reputation, his control, but there's still a glimmer of defiance burning within him, a stubborn refusal to accept defeat. Returning home, Tom is met with a sight that sends chill down his spine. Jill and Claudia stand at the doorway, surrounded by boxes of his belongings, tossing them out the window with determined resolve. Their faces are set in expressions of steely determinations, their eyes ablaze with righteous anger. Claudia's voice cuts through the air like a knife as she demands his departure. Her words laced with strength he's never seen before. She demands a divorce, a clean break from the toxicity of their marriage, and she wants him gone immediately. Tom's chest tightens with a mixture of fury and despair as he realizes the depth of his betrayal, the irreplaceable damage he's caused. For the first time in his life, he feels truly alone, cast out from the home he once ruled with immunity. Without a word, Tom retreats to his car, his hands shaking with rage and shame. He knows there's no going back, no redemption for the sins he's committed. With a heavy heart and his soul weighed down by regret, he drives away into the night, leaving behind the wreckage of his life. But as he disappears into the darkness, a new resolve begins to take root within him. He may have lost everything, but he refuses to be defeated. Tom Rodrigoz may have fallen from grace, but he'll rise again, stronger, wise, and ready to face whatever chances. For now, his reign of terror may be over, but Tom Rodrigoz is far from finished. And as he disappears into the night, the echoes of his past deeds linger, a haunting reminder of the price of power and the cost of redemption. His comeuppance! His comeuppance! Tom Rodrigoz has been fired as principal from Melodrama High, kicked out of the house, divorced from Claudia, and is gonna lose he's actually lost everything. Tom Rodrigo's reign of terror is over, bro. But he said he might be back, who knows. But bro, for now, his reign of terror is over. He's not going to manipulate Jordan or anybody else anymore because his manipulation is over. It's done. He is done. Guys, we're back. In Tom Rodrigo's perspective, Christmas serves as a stark reminder of his shattered dreams and crumbling facade. As he navigates through the bustling streets adorned with festive lights and decorations, the cheerfulness of the season only applies his sense of isolation and despair. The weight of his recent downfall at Melodrama High hangs heavy on his shoulders, casting his shadow over what should be a joyous time. With each passing day leading up to Christmas, Tom finds himself haunted by memories of happier times when he was revered as the principal of Melodrama High and his family life appeared idyllic. Now, those memories feel like distant echoes of a past he can never reclaim. As he watches families come together to celebrate the holidays, Tom is consumed by bitterness and resentment. He envies their happiness and stability, longing for the sense of belonging and purpose that has eluded him for so long. Behind his stoic facade, he wrestles with feelings of inequality and self-loathing, wondering where it all went wrong. In the midst of the holiday hustle and bustle, Tom grapples with the harsh reality of the situation. Christmas once a time of hope and renewal, now serves as a painful reminder of his failures and his fractured relationships that define his existence. As he braces himself for the impending thing, he can't shake the feeling that his life is spiraling further out of control. And with no end in sight, he will get Claudia back, and he will continue to manipulate everyone around him. Yeah, Tom needs to go. Your time is here. Guys, we're back, and it's the final melodrama before Christmas Day. I don't even know if there's going to be a melodrama on Christmas Day because I don't know what's happening. But who knows? Let's read. As the Christmas Eve choir reversal begins, his church fills with the harmonious voices of the choir members, including Jill, Clara, Claudia, Shelby, and Evie. Each woman stands tall, their voices blending seamlessly as they sing anew. You'll probably hear them singing in the background, so yeah. Jill's mind drifts as she sings, her thoughts consumed by her tumultuous encounters with George and the shocking revelations she's learned. Throughout the year, despite the chaos running around her, she finds solace in the familiar melodies, using the music as a refuge from her troubled thoughts. Meanwhile, Clara's heart aches with a mix of determination and sadness as she sings. She longs for Toby to face the consequences of his actions, yet she can't shake this lingering pain of betrayal and violation. With each note she sings, she channels her emotions into the music, finding strength in the unity of the choir. Claudia's face beams with relief as she raises her voice in song, grateful for the absence of Tom Rodrigo's oppressive presence. Free from his manipulation and abuse, she embraces the joy of this holiday season, her voice ringing out with renewed hope and optimism. Shelby's eyes sparkle with anticipation as she sings, her mind consumed with thoughts of her upcoming wedding to Malone. Unaware of the dark secrets he hides, she revels in the excitement of their impending union, her voice rising with the promise of a bright future ahead. As for Evie, her voice trembles slightly as she sings, her nerves still raw from the past encounters with Samson. Despite her lingering fear, she finds courage in the support of her fellow choir members, their voices lifting her spirits and reminding her that she's not alone. As the choir's voice swelled to crescendo, the camera pans out to capture each woman in her element, their faces illuminated by the warm glow of the Christmas church's stained glass windows. And as the scene fades to black, a somber voiceover echoes in the darkness. Men, may they get what they deserve.
In sin and error pining till he appeared, and the soul felt its worth, a thrill of hope. A weary world rejoiced.
Well, I had to come and say hello, didn't I? That time of year again. Time of fun, laughter, magic. Wishes coming true.
Turn up for the books.
And my wish for you is that your Christmas is everything that it should be. Fun, silly games, family bust-ups, because it's not Christmas without a family bust-up. What I want to say to you is Merry Christmas. I don't suppose it's been all that merry, has it? Because when you love someone, when you really love someone, the thought of losing them just makes you rage. There's been times when I've wanted to kick off, but I had everything down. I suppose you've had some moments like that over the last few months, eh? But that's okay. You're not a saint and you don't need to be. You're just a lovely, lovely guy trying to hold his family together. Sorry, it's just... I can't help being angry. I love you. I always will.
is right, the spirit's up. We're here tonight, and that's enough. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. The party's on, the feeling's here.
Quick, we don't want to miss the wedding.
Time of year. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. The choir of children sing their song. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. We're simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
We represent the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild.
You know Andrew, he's watching The Wizard of Oz now. Don't worry, Shelby, I'll be there. I won't miss your wedding, that's for sure.
You can't lie any longer. I'm sorry, Shelby, you had to find out about this. He's the one who kidnapped baby Andrew.
That's not true.
God. Every word of it is.
Hello, boss? Yep, don't worry. All's good in the village this year for once.
Malone, you attacked Jill and you and Trenton!
That's not how it happened.
He's a liar! Malone, stop lying! You can't erase what you did!
Look, I know I messed up. I know it. But I didn't lie to hurt you. I lied because I was scared. Scared you'd walk away before I even had a chance to fix it. You mean more to me than anybody. You don't walk away from me, Shelby.
Let go of me!
Ungrateful bitch!
Hey! That's enough. Don't you ever touch her again.
It sure is.
Malone has always been evil. He even has a baby with me. Her name's Peggy.
What?
Why do you think Malone really went to destroy the Beals? Because he wanted Andrew.
Malone targets Kyra and you. He tried to destroy my family. He must be taken down immediately.
Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the water wherever you will. You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand. And I would call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours and you are mine. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fear surrounds me, you've never failed, you won't start now. So I would call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul stars, the great unknown will feed me feel. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand.
Right, I'm off.
Well, just so you know, I made him promise to keep her safe.
What hero? Okay, well, do you know what? I'm gonna stay for another drink.
Yeah.
Hey.
Right. Okay. Able to. He'll be looking for me. What? Well, that means he's going to go to my house. My kids are there. He wants. He won't harm them. As soon as I've got this taxi, we'll be long gone anyway, so... Oh, God. He's cancelled again.
You shouldn't have to run away.
Well, what choice have I got? Do you know what? I'm sick of this. I am sick of insecure, perverted, screwed-up little men trying to control us.
Why should you be the one to hide away in fear?
Yeah, it's your house, your business. He should go.
You got rights. You have kept that family together.
You know, just because you married him once, don't mean you can't change your mind.
And we can't let men bully us, lie to our faces.
Oh, stalk us.
Or rape us.
Sorry. Call him. Call him here.
Here?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you tell him that you and he ain't anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, what's he gonna do?
It's us. He's just overpowered.
Yeah, he ain't gonna try anything with us here, is he?
No, he doesn't like to take his mask off in public.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's not stupid, is he? You know, we're witnesses.
Too right.
Bring it on.
If you really want to talk, I'm in the... Let's talk.
Merry Christmas, ladies. What a pleasant surprise.
Sit down.
Well, if you'll excuse us, this is a private matter. You come home, darling. We can discuss it.
Sit.
Get your coat. Come on.
She ain't going with you.
Thought you said you wanted to talk.
So shut it and let her say her piece.
Look, I know what happens when you women get together and drink too much white wine. But this doesn't have to turn into a big drama, does it?
I'm leaving you. It's over, and I want you out of my house.
Bitch. Well, she's well and truly brainwashed you. Oh, you don't want to leave us. Not really.
I'm not leaving. You are.
No one's leaving.
For God's sake, will you just listen for once? I want to be with you. End of.
And do you think I'm going to listen to a little slapper like you?
You can't force her. Right, if she don't want to be your wife, you can't make her. She's right. And if you try anything, we'll call the police.
And you'll end up back inside again.
Yeah, I mean, we are all witnesses.
Yes, so don't be stupid. Go on.
Off you pop, little man. Go and pack your bag and crawl under the rock that you came from.
Somebody shut up! It's okay. I love you. Okay? Just please. I can make you happy. Okay, I can be better. I'll give you whatever you want. Please. You just come home with me. Because I need you. Please.
I can't bear to look at you.
What have you done?
No, you don't die. No, you don't get the easy way out.
If you killed him.
No, no, no.
Oh. Where is he?
He's safe. Just leave.
No, no.
He's not here.
Just calm down.
You're not taking him. I won't let you.
I think you will. Or you just killed a man.
No one's gonna believe you. You're a kidnapper.
You're going to prison. Oh, you're going to prison, and I'm taking my son with me, so clearly I ain't safe here with you.
He's not your son. And if anyone's getting banged up, it's you. You're a child snatcher. And you know what happens to people like you inside. You will be put in isolation 23 hours a day with your own thoughts. No visitors, because you screwed your own family over. Let you see Peggy, and I swear to God, you will never lay eyes on her. Never. He is not your son.
What are you doing?
Right, guys, we're back. As the ambulance rushes through the snowy streets, Tom Rodrigoz lies unconscious on a strip. Don't tell me they killed Tom Rodrigoz as well. His life hanging in the balance. Inside the ambulance, paramedics work fiercely to stabilise him. Their faces etched with concern as they monitor his vital signs. With each passing moment, the gravity of Tom's condition becomes increasingly apparent. The sound of the sirens blurs through the night, cutting through the stillness like a desperate plea for help. Arriving at the hospital, Tom is whisked away into the emergency room, surrounded by a flurry of medical personnel. Doctors and nurses spring into action, their expertise and training put to the test as they fight to save his life. In the waiting room, tension hangs thick in the air as the loved ones gather, their hearts heavy with worry. Claudia, Jill, and the others watch anxiously as the minutes tick by, praying for a miracle. As the night wears on, the hospital corridors are filled with whispers, prayers, and quiet tears. Each moment waited with the uncertainty. Will Tom Rodrigoz survive this harrowing ordeal, or will tragedy strike again, leaving a community reeling in its wake? Well, Tom Rodrigoz does not deserve anything, but still, he's evil as well. Seriously, what is going on? They attacked Tom Rodrigoz as well. I need to know the full story of what happened on Christmas Day. I know Malone's dead. They buried his body in Melodrama High. They must have attacked Tom Rodrigoz as well. What is going on? Seriously? What is going on with these women? In the dimly lit interview room, the 5 women sit side by side, their faces drawn and weary from the events of the night. Across from them, a stern-faced detective listens intently as they recount their harrowing ordeal. It all started at the pub, Jill begins, her voice trembling slightly as she recalls the chaos of the evening. Malone, he attacked Tom out of nowhere. Claudia nods in agreement, her eyes dark with the weight of their shared secret. We were just trying to defend ourselves, she adds, her voice steady despite the fear that lingers between the nervous. Shelby chimes in, her voice tingling with regret. We didn't know what else to do. Malone, he was out of control. Evie and Clara offer their own accounts of the night's event, their voice trembling. We fought back, Evie says quietly, her eyes meeting the detective's gaze with unwavering resolve. We had to. As the interview progresses, the women stick to their story, weaving a narrative of survival and self-defense, to speak of fear and uncertainty of a night that turned their lives upside down in an instant. But even as they face the scrutiny of the police, there is a quiet something among them, a shared understanding that they will weather this storm together. And as they wait for the inevitable fallout from their actions, they find solace knowledge that they are not alone. Holy crap! So that's what happened. So they attack Malone, or Tom Rodrigoz, and things. So they're going to say that Malone attacked Tom, so that gets him away when he survives, probably. And then with Malone missing, it'll be like he ran away. Oh, that's actually really good. Because I know Malone got exposed at the altar and all, so I remember that. That's what I found out. So that must have been what he was angry and he attacked Tom. Maybe that is what happened. No, it definitely wasn't. So and they're saying Malone survived. So yeah, it's not. Right, we're back. In a dramatic turn of events, Tom's eyes fluttered open nowhere. His vision blurred and disorientated. Tom's awake. Oh my god. Tom Rodrigoz is awake. The dim glow of the hospital room's lights pierced through the haze as he struggled to make sense of his surroundings. As awareness slowly flooded back, his mind raced with fragments of memories. The chilling confrontation in the pub, the icy grip of Malone's hands. The events of that fateful night crashed over him like a tidal fate, threatening to drown it. Wait, does he remember? Or no? Because some of that doesn't make sense, Malone's hands. With a gas, Tom tried to set up his muscle protesting against effort. Pain radiated through his body, a stark reminder of the brutal assault he had endured. But despite the agony of fierce determination burned his eye, resolved to survive and seek justice for the horrors he endured. As he struggled to push him back, Tom's gaze fell upon the sterile hospital room, a stark reminder of the fragile thread that bound him to the realm of the living. With a sense of grim determination, he vowed to uncover the truth, to unravel the web of lies that had ensnared him in its grasp. The stage was set for a harrowing journey, a battle for survival, for redemption, for justice. And as Tom braced himself for the trials that lay ahead, he knew that the path to salvation would be paved with blood, sweat, and tears. Why couldn't he just die? Why couldn't he just die? Why couldn't he just die, chap? Why couldn't Tom Rodrigoz just die? Panic gripped the 5 women as they exchanged nervous glances, their minds racing with fear and uncertainty. With Tom Rodrigoz on the brink of consciousness, the looming threat of his memory returning sent shivers down their spines. Jill's hands trembled as she wrung them together, her thoughts consumed by the damning secrets they had buried beneath the cold, unforgiving earth of Melodrama High. Shelby's brow furrowed with worry, her mind plagued by the weight of their lies they had waving to protect themselves. Evie's breath came in short, shallow gasps, her eyes widening with appearance at the prospect of their carefully constructed facade crumbling to dust. Claudia's jaw tightened, her resolve fluttering in the face of impending exposure, while Clara's knuckles turned white as she clenched her fist, her heart pounding with the fear of retribution. In the dimly lit confines of the school, their footsteps echoed like a funeral dirge, each one a somber reminder of the sins they had committed in the name of self-preservation. With each passing moment, the tension mounted, thickening the air with an oppressive weight that threatened to suffocate them all. As they stood in the precipice of uncertainty, the women knew that their fate hung in the balance, teetering on the edge of oblivion. For if Tom's memory returned, if he pieced together the fragments of the truth they had painstakingly concealed, there would be no escape from the consequences that awaited them. With bated breath and pounding hearts, they awaited the inevitable reckoning, knowing that their past sins had come back to haunt them in the most terrifying way imaginable. To be continued. Guys, we are back, and seriously, stuff is going down in Melodrama. Seriously, if you guys cannot remember what happened last time, a lot went down. A lot. We found out that Tom Rodrigoz might remember. Tom Rodrigoz is awake from his coma. So let's find out what is going on. The room was filled with an uneasy silence as Tom admitted he couldn't remember what happened on Christmas Day. The 5 women exchanged quick, furtive glances, their tension palpable. Jill was the first to react, her voice sharp as she tried to mask her anxiety. "Oh, Tom, you're just being silly," she said, forcing a laugh that sounded a bit too loud. "It was just a regular Christmas, nothing out of the ordinary." Clara nodded quickly, her eyes darting around the room. "Yeah, Tom, it was just a quiet day. We had dinner, exchanged gifts. You probably just had too much wine, that's all." Shelby, usually the most outspoken, was uncharacteristically quiet, her gaze fixed on the floor, but then she chimed in, her tone casual, almost too casual. "Exactly, you know how the holidays are, everything blurs together, don't worry about it." Evie, sitting closest to Tom, reached out and placed a hand. "Tom, it's really no big deal. I remember you having a lovely day. Don't worry, nothing worth remembering, really." Claudia, who had been quiet until now, finally spoke up, her voice smooth. "Tom, sometimes it's better not to dwell on things. Maybe your mind is doing you a favour by letting this one go." Tom looked around on them, confused and indignant. "But I have this nagging feeling like something important happened. Are you sure nothing?" "Absolutely nothing," Jill interrupted, a little too quickly. "Really, Tom, just let it go." The room grew quieter still as the 5 women desperately tried to maintain the facade, each silently hoping Tom wouldn't push further, each aware that beneath the surface the truth they were all trying so hard to keep hidden was dangerously close to being exposed. What happened on Christmas Day? The 5 women killed Malone and attacked Tom Rodrigoz as he tried to take Claudia back to his house. So he cannot remember. So what will happen next? Guys, we're back. This is what's happening. The students at Melodrama High were buzzing with nervous energy as a rumour spread Tom Rodrigoz was back. The name alone sent shivers down the spines of anyone who had been around during his last stint as principal. He has been fired months ago under a cloud of controversy, and everyone thought they had seen the last of him, but now against all odds, he had returned. Rodrigo's presence was like a dark cloud looming over the school. He strolled down the main hallway, his footsteps echoing ominously on the polished floors. His sharp, cold eyes scanned the familiar surroundings, taking in the students who hurried past, avoiding his gaze. His reputation preceded him, strict, ruthless and unyielding. Some said he thrived on making everyone uncomfortable, and it seemed he hadn't changed. In the teacher's lounge, the facility gathered, their voices low and anxious. Miss Thompson, who had been a young teacher during Rodrigo's first tenure, looked as though she had seen a ghost. "How did he even get back in?" she whispered, her voice. "I thought we were finally rid of him." "Yeah, how the hell did he get back into Melodrama?" In the teacher's Miss Johnson, the science teacher, shook his head grimly. I heard it was something to do with the school board. They're desperate for results after the recent test scores ranked. Rodrigoz has a reputation for turning things around at any cost, but he was fired for a reason. Miss Hernandez, the English teacher, insisted he's dangerous. The things he did, the way he treated the students. Rodrigo's return was already making waves. Students who had never met him were now hearing the horror stories from those who had, the tales of relentless denters, draconian rules, and his unyielding way of manipulating everyone. Rodrigoz wasted no time asserting his authority. By the end of his first day back, new rules were posted through the school. Curfews for external activities, stricter dress codes, and a zero-tolerance policy for any form of dissent. The Student Council, once a platform for the students' voices, was swiftly disbanded, leaving the student body without any representation. As the days passed, a suffocating atmosphere settled over Melodrama High. The students and teachers alike could feel the walls closing in. What the hell? The sense of freedom they had enjoyed under the previous principal fading away. Whispers of resistance began to circulate, but no one dared to speak too loudly. Tom Rodrigoz was back and he had no intention of leaving again. How did he get back in? He was fired about the whole abuse and all to Claudia. He was fired. How is he back? How is Tom Rodrigoz back? Guys, we're back. Seriously, Trenton's story is getting crazy. Like, I don't know. The morning light crept through the thin curtains of Trenton's apartment or house, casting a somber glow across the room. Trenton sat at the kitchen table, his head throbbing from the previous night's activities. The events of the fire and his actions were a blur, but the weight of his guilt was all too clear. The doorbell rang sharply, interrupting his troubled thoughts. With a sense of foreboding, Trenton rose slowly and answered the door to find two social workers standing outside. They were introduced themselves professionally and asked if they could come in. Trenton feeling a knot form in his stomach, invited them inside. The social workers entered and began to survey the apartment or the house, their expressions serious as they took in the disarray. The motions for Trenton to sit at the kitchen table, a demeanour calm but authoritative. Mr. Trenton, we've received reports about a recent incident involving you, and we're here to discuss the welfare of your son. One of the social workers said on the clipboard, we need to conduct an assessment to ensure that he is in a safe environment. Trenton's face went pale. I didn't think it would come to this. I'm trying to fix me. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. The social workers nodded, their concern evident. We understand this is a difficult situation. However, we need to proceed with our assessment to ensure that your child's safety and well-being are prioritised. As they continued their preliminary assessment, Trenton sat in a stunned silence. The reality of the social workers intervening in his life was a harsh wake-up call, and he struggled to comprehend the gravity of the situation. To be continued. They're going to take baby Andrew, aren't they? It's going to destroy Trenton. This is going to... I'm not having another downward spiral. I'm sorry, I'm not. After Kyra and baby Andrew left last time after the custody battle, that destroyed Trenton. He nearly killed Harold Jason by pushing him over a roof. He became an alcoholic. He attacked Shelby. I'm not having this happen again. I'm not. Trenton, we're here for you. We're not doing this. I know you're relapsing right now, and I know possibly Andrew, hopefully not, it doesn't come to that, but it probably will. Guys, we're back, and seriously, it's a part 2. A few hours later, the atmosphere in Trenton's house was thick with tension. The social workers had been conducting their assessment and their concerns were growing. The doorbell rang again, this time accompanied by the sound of a knock. Trenton opened it to find 2 more social workers and a police officer. The lead social worker addressed Trenton with a heavy heart. Mr. Trenton, we've completed our initial assessment. We're deeply concerned about the current living situation for your son, and we need him to take immediate action to ensure his safety. Trenton's eyes widened in shock. What do you mean? What's happening? The social worker glanced at the police officer, who nodded and stepped inside. Given the recent events and the potential risk to your child, we've made the decision to temporarily remove him from your home. We need to ensure he's in a secure and stable environment, and while we continue our assessment. Triton's breath caught in his throat. No, please, this isn't necessary. I'm trying to help. I need to fix this. The social workers and the officer moved with purpose as they carefully approached the small crib, the small bed where Andrew was sleeping. Triton marched in stunned disbelief as his heart breaking as he realised what was happening. The social workers gently picked up him, who was stirred by a soft cry. Triton's hands trembled as he reached down, his voice breaking. Please don't take him away. I love him. I'm doing everything I can to get better. The social worker spoke softly but firmly. We understand this is incredibly difficult, but our priority is the safety and well-being of the child. He will be placed in temporary care where he can be assured a stable and safe environment. As Andrew was carefully taken from the apartment, Trenton felt a profound sense of loss and helplessness. The weight of his actions and the separation from the child he loved were unbearable. He sank to the floor, his tears streaming down his face as the reality of his situation hit him with full force. The house was now eerily quiet, the absence of Andrew leaving a painful void. Trenton was left alone with his thoughts, grabbing another bottle of whiskey as he started to drink. Why does... Andrew. I think it's time to stop calling baby Andrew and just Andrew Beals. Andrew Beals. Exit. Trent doesn't deserve this. Guys, we're back. The chill. The atmosphere at Melodrama Height was far from tranquil. The air buzzed with rumours and tension as the fallout from the events of Christmas still lingered in the minds of students and staff alike. Among them was Jordan Robinson, the once bright and promising student whose demeanour had shifted in recent months. Jordan had tried to keep his head down after everything that had happened. He'd seen the dark side of Tom Rodrigoz, the manipulative former principal who had wormed his way into the lives of so many students. Jordan had resisted Tom's influence once, rejecting his attempts to manipulate and control it, but the pressure of living under the shadow of his own family's reputation, his secrets they harboured, and the chaos that they endured since Christmas weighed heavy on him. As Jordan walked down the hallway, his mind raced with conflicting thoughts. He had been avoiding Tom ever since the man was reinstated as principal under mysterious circumstances. Tom's presence at the school was a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked just beneath the surface of Melodrama High. Well, they don't realise there's a body buried under there as well. But now something has changed. Jordan felt a pull, a twisting curiosity, and an unsettling need to confront the very man he had once stunned. Tom's office door loomed ahead, and Jordan hesitated for a moment before knocking. The familiar chill ran down his spine as the door creaked open, revealing Tom Rodrigoz sitting behind his desk, his eyes glinting with a mixture of surprise and satisfaction. Well, if it isn't Jordan Robinson, Tom said, leaning back into his chair. To what do I owe the pleasure? Jordan swallowed hard, his heart pounding in his chest. The room felt colder, the air heavy with the weight of what he was about to do. He stepped inside, closing the door behind him, steeling himself in with the man who had once tried to ruin him. You were right, Jordan said, his voice steady but low, about everything, the pressure, the expectations, the lies. I can't do it anymore. Tom's smile widened, his eyes narrowing as he studied Jordan. I knew you'd come around eventually. The truth had one day of surfacing, no matter how deeply it's buried. But tell me, Jordan, what exactly brought you to this realization? Jordan hesitated, the words catching in his throat. I'm tired of being the good son, the perfect student. I'm tired of living up to everyone else's expectations. I just want to be free from it all, and you're the only one who seems to understand what that's like. Tom leaned forward, his hands clasped together on the desk. Freedom comes with a price, Jordan, but I can show you the way, how to break free from the chains that bind you, and how to take control of your own destiny. It's a dark path, but that's one you're ready for, isn't it? Jordan felt a shiver run through him as Tom's words sank in. This was a dangerous game, and he knew it. But something inside him had already crossed the line, and there was no turning back now. I'm ready, Jordan replied, his voice firmer now. I want to learn from you. I want to be as strong as you are, to not care about what anyone else thinks. Tom's smile was predatory, his eyes gleaming with triumph. Good. You've taken the first step, and you're always the hardest. Together, and that's always the hardest. Together we'll reshape your future, and in turn you'll help me reshape this skull. As Jordan sat down across from Tom, the atmosphere in the room shifted. A darker line was beginning to form. This was the start of something new and dangerous at Melodrama High. A story that would test the limits of mortality and the depths of manipulation. And as the clocks ticked forward, the true cost of Jordan's decision remained to be seen. Jordan Robinson, what are you doing? Guys, we're back, and seriously, stuff is going down. Shelby's mind raced, still reeling from the confrontation with Jill when she stormed into Melodrama High. The chaos of recent events had left her despite desperate for answers, and there was one person she suspected had a hand in it all: Tom Rodrigoz. Oh my god, maybe he was the one who called her. She had heard whispers, seen the way he manipulated those around him, and now her suspicion were boiling into a rage. She barged through the crowded hallways, her heels clicking sharply against the floor as the students scattered out of her way. When she reached Tom's office, she didn't bother knocking. She pushed the door open with a force that sent it slamming against the wall, her eyes blazing with fury. Tom Rodrigoz looked up from his desk, his face a mist. Shelby, he said smoothly, as if he had expecting her. To what do I owe the pleasure? Asking come. Cut the crap, Tom, Shelby snapped, slamming the door up shut behind her. I know it was you. I know you call social services on Trenton. Tom's expression didn't falter, but there was a glint in his eyes, a hint of something darker. And what makes you think that? He asked, leaning back in his chair as his hands clasped casually in front of him. Shelby took a step closer, his voice trembling with barely contained anger. Don't play games with me. You've been pulling strings around here for as long as I remember. I know you've been trying to manipulate everyone, and now you've crossed the line. Why did you do it? What could possibly gain from tearing Trenton's life apart? Tom's smile was cold, calculating. You always were perspective, Shelby. I must admit, it's a rare quality around here. He paused, letting the tension build up before continuing. Yes, I made the call. I could see Trenton was spiraling out of control, and frankly, someone needed to intervene. His son was in danger. Shelby's heart skipped a beat, her anger momentarily giving her a shot. You did this to protect Andrew? You expect me to believe that? Tom stood up, slowly circling around his desk until he was standing in front of her. Protecting Andrew was part of it, yes, but let's not pretend this was purely outcome. I saw an opportunity to just show how fragile this community really is, how easy the so-called good families can fall apart. Shelby felt a chill run down her spine as Tom's words sank in. You're a monster, she whispered, her voice thick with disgust. You don't care about anyone but yourself. Thomas smiled wide, a predatory gleam in his eyes. You're not wrong, but I also know how to get what I want, and right now what I want is to remind everyone who's really in control here. He really is. He should have died on Christmas Day. Shelby's blood boiled as she realised the full extent of Tom's manipulation. He hadn't just targeted Trenton, he had orchestrated the entire situation and exerted his power over the school to remind everyone of his influence. She took a deep breath. Helen said to herself, you're sick, Tom, and if you think you can get away with this, you're wrong. I'm going to make sure everyone knows what you've done. Tom's expression darkened, his voice lowering and menacing. Be careful, Shelby. You don't want to make an enemy of me. You've seen what I'm capable of. Shelby held her gaze, her resolve hardening. I'm not afraid of you, Tom. You've already done your worst. Now it's my turn. With that, she turned and stormed out of the office, her heart pounding with a mix of fear. She knew what she was up against, a dangerous adversity, but she couldn't let Tom get away with this. The battle lines were drawn, and Shelby was prepared to do whatever it took to bring Tom Rodrigoz down. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Yeah, but if you're messing with him, he might remember what you did. Remember, you were part in his attack on Christmas Day. He could remember that. This is getting crazy. Guys, we're back, and seriously, this is getting crazy. Seriously, the days at Melodrama High grew longer as the shadows of Tom Rodrigo's influence began to stretch further across the school. Students whispered in the halls about his return, rearing of the man who seemed to thrive on chaos and control. Among them was Luke Robinson, the younger brother of Jordan Robinson, who had just started his freshman year. Luke had always been different from his older brother, where Jordan was characteristic and confident. Luke was more reserved, preferring to keep his head down and stay out of trouble. But the burden of living up to the Robinson name weighed heavily on him, especially now that Jordan seemed to be slipping into a darker path under Tom's influence. One afternoon, Luke found himself lingering after class, staring at the empty seats around him. He had stayed behind to finish on an assignment, but now the silence of the empty classroom felt oppressive. As he gathered his things to leave, the door creaked open and Tom Rodrigoz stepped in. "Look, Robinson," Tom said, his voice moving and inviting. "I've been meaning to have a word with you." Luke looked up, startled. He hadn't had much interaction with Tom, but he knew enough about him to be wary. Sure, Mr. Rodrigoz," he replied casually. "What's this about?" Tom moved closer, his demeanour calm and almost fatherly. "I've noticed you around. Look, you're a smart kid, but it seems like you're not living up to your full potential. It must be tough being in the shadow of your brother." Luke stiffened at the mention of Jordan. He had spent his entire life trying to escape the shadow, trying to carve out his own identity. "I'm doing fine," Luke said, though his voice lacked conviction. Tom nodded, as if he understood completely. "I can see that you're trying, but I also see how much pressure you're under. People expect you to be just like Jordan, perfect grades, star athlete, the whole package. But you're your own person, Luke. You don't have to follow his footsteps." Luke blinked, taken aback by Tom's word. It was as if he was hearing someone articulate his deepest insecurities for the first time. "What are you getting at?" he asked, worried of Tom's intentions. Tom smiled, his eyes gleaming with a calculated intensity. I'm offering you an opportunity, Luke, to be more than just Jordan's little brother. To stand out on your own. I can help you navigate this place, help you find your own path away from all those expectations." Luke hesitated, torn between his instinct to stay away from Tom and the tantalizing offer to feel. Finally, stepping out of his brother's shadow, he had seen what happened to those who had crossed Tom. But he also couldn't deny the appeal of being seen for who he was, not for what he was expected to be. "What do you want from me?" Luke asked, his voice betraying a mix of curiosity and fear. Tom smiled wide and sensing Luke's interest. "I want nothing more than to see you succeed, Luke. But success comes with making the right decisions. Knowing the right people. Stick with me, and I'll make sure you're not just another face in the crowd. You'll have this respect and privilege." Luke felt a strange thrill at the prospect, the idea of finally breaking free from his brother's shadow, too tempting to resist. He knew it was dangerous to get involved with Tom Rodrigoz, but the allure of finally being recognised for who he was rather than who he wasn't was overpowering. "I'll think about it," Luke finally said, trying to keep his voice steady. Tom nodded approvingly. "Take your time, but remember, opportunities like this don't come around often. When you're ready, you know where to find me." As Tom turned to leave, Luke felt a knot of anxiety tighten in his stomach. He knew he was playing with fire, but the chance of finally stepping his own identity was powerful to ignore. The seeds of manipulation had been planted, and as Luke walked out of the classroom, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had just taken the first step down a very dangerous path. Oh, you have. Luke, you have. Stuff is going down. Let's see what's going on. The house was usually quiet when Tom Rodrigoz returned home that evening. The weight of the day's events hung heavily on his shoulders, but something else gnawed at him. A series of fragmented memories that had been clawing their way to the surface. Memories he had tried to bury within his mind. As he stepped inside, the silence felt obsessive, almost suffocating. The shadows in the corner of the room seemed to stretch longer than usual, as if they were reaching out to him, pulling him back to that day, Christmas Day. Tom's heartbeat quickened as he made his way through the darkened hallways, the memories becoming sharper, more vivid with each step. He tried to forget, to convince himself that it was all a blur, but now the images were crystal clear. Claudia's terrified face, the fury in the eyes of those 5 women, and the sharp searing pain as something shattered over his head. He remembers! He reached the living room, where Claudia was sitting alone on the couch, her back to him. She didn't hear him enter. Her shoulders hunched as if she was trying to shrink into herself, lost in her thoughts. The sight of her, so small and vulnerable, ignited a mixture of emotions in Tom. Anger, confusion, but most of all, a chilling realization. Claudia, he said, his voice cutting through the silence like a knife. Claudia jumped, startled by the sudden sound of his voice. She turned to look at him, her eyes wide with surprise and something else, fear. Tom, you're home early, she stammered, her voice shaky as she tried to compose herself. Tom didn't respond immediately. He just stood there staring at her, her mind racing as the pieces of that day clicked into place. He took a slow, deliberate step towards her, his gaze never leaving her face. I remember, Claudia, he said, his voice low and ominous. I remember what happened on Christmas Day. To be continued. He remembers, chap. He remembers what happened. Claudia, you better get out of there now. Guys, we're back. Tom Rodrigoz is confronting Claudia. He remembers what happened on Christmas Day. Remember, he got smashed over the back of the head from the 5 women, and he was nearly killed. The room seemed to close in on Claudia as Tom's words echoed in her mind, each syllable landing like a heavy blow. I remember what happened on Christmas Day. Claudia's heart pounding in her chest, her last breath coming in shallow, rapid gasps. She could see it in his eyes, the way they bore into her with a mix of anger, betrayal, and something darker, more dangerous. The moment she had dreaded since that fateful day had finally arrived. Tom took another step towards her, his expression unreadable, yet terrifying in its intensity. Claudia intensively backed away, her mind racing for an explanation, an excuse, anything to deflect the impending storm. Tom, she started, her voice trembling. I don't know what you think you remember, but don't lie to me, Claudia. He cut her off, his voice sharp and cold. I know what happened. I remember everything. Malone didn't attack me. Claudia's stomach dropped. There was no mistake the certainty in his voice. He knew about their confrontation, the broken bottle, the violence that had erupted that night. He knew that the terror in her eyes as she and the others tried to fend him off, tried to stop him from hurting anyone else. Tom's fist clenched at his side as he relived the flashes of memory, the sound of shattering glass, the searing pain, the panic as he was overpowered. He had tried to piece it together for months, but now the fog had lifted and it was all too clear. You all thought you could just sweep it under the rug, didn't you? Tom continued, his voice rising with every word. You thought I'd never remember, that I'd just move on like nothing happened. But I know, Claudia, I know what you did. Claudia's knees felt weak as she stumbled backward, her back hitting the wall. Tom, please, it wasn't supposed to happen like that, she pleaded, her voice desperate. We didn't have a choice, you were. I was what? He snapped, closing the distance between them in an instant. His face was inches from her eyes blazing with fury. Go on, his eyes blazing with fury. Go on, say it. I was out of control, right? I was dangerous. Claudia couldn't find the words. Everything she had feared was now staring at her in the face. She had hoped that in the passing months would make the memory fade, that Tom would never piece together the full truth, but now there was no escape. Tom's voice drew up to a deadly whisper. You attacked me, Claudia. You and those other women, Clara, Evie, Shelby, Jill. You all ganged up on me. You tried to take me down. Tears welled up in Claudia's eyes as she shook her head, her voice choked with emotion. We were trying to protect ourselves, Tom. You left us no choice. Tom's jaw tightened as he fought to contain his rage. He had always known there was more to that night than he could remember. But now hearing it from Claudia, it was like a dam had burst inside him. The betrayal, the pain, the humiliation, it all came rushing back with a force he couldn't control. I trusted you, he spat, his voice shaking with anger. And this is how you repay me? By trying to destroy me? Claudia's tears spilled as she reached out, trying to touch his arm to calm him down. Tom, please. We didn't want to hurt you. You were just trying to. Tom jerked away from her touch, his eyes cold and unforgiving. You didn't want to hurt me? Well, you did. You all did. And now you're going to pay for it. Oh, fudge. Claudia's breath hitched in her throat, the finality of his words hitting like a punch in the gut. The man standing before her wasn't just angry, he was vengeful, and he wasn't going to let this go. Tom, she whispered, her voice barely audible. What are you going to do? Tom didn't answer immediately. Instead, he leaned in close, his eyes narrowing as he delivered his final words with chilling calmness. You'll find out soon enough. The silence that followed was suffocating, the weight of his foot hanging in the air between them. Claudia could only watch in helpless terror as Tom turned and walked out of the room, leaving her alone in the horrifying realization that the nightmare they had tried to bury was far from over. To be continued. Guys, we're back, and this stuff's starting to go down actually. Tom Rodrigoz knows the truth. And people are in danger. The night was pitch black. A thick cloud covering over the moon and stars cast a suffocating darkness. Inside the house, Tom Rodrigoz fury was unleashed like a storm, his anger fearing through the once peaceful home. He tore paintings from the walls, smashed furniture into splinters, and shattered glassware against the walls. Each crash echoed through the empty rooms, the sound of destruction and twisted sympathy in his rage. Claudia cowered in the corner, her heart racing as she watched Tom destroy everything in sight. His face was contorted with rage as she had never seen before. His eyes wild and unhinged. He was a man possessed, consumed by the memories that had resurfaced, the betrayal that buried in his chest. Claudia! He shouted, his voice booming as he hurried a lamp across the room, shattering it into pieces. That was Matthew's lamp. Matthew's a serial killer. You think you can run? You think you can hide from what you did? Claudia's survival instinct kicked in. She knew she couldn't stay there. Not with him like this. With her heart pounding in her chest, she turned and bolted to the front door. The sound of another crash behind her spurring her on. She yanked the door open and ran out into the night, not stopping until she was far enough away to feel somewhat safe. Her hands trembled as she pulled out her phone, desperately dialing the first number that came to mind. Shelby was curled up on her couch watching a movie, the soft glow of the TV casting shadows across the room. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table, and she frowned as she saw Claudia's name on the screen. Claudia, she answered, concern immediately flooding her face. What's wrong? Claudia's voice was frantic, barely coherent. Shelby, it's Tom. He's lost it. He remembers everything and he's destroying the house. I barely got out. Shelby's blood ran cold. Where are you? I'm outside, but I don't know where to go. I'm scared, Shelby. I need help. I'm coming. We'll figure this out. Stay safe, Claudia. Shelby hung up, her heart racing. She knew this was bad, worse than anything they'd ever faced before. Meanwhile, across town, Clara was sitting with Jennifer, the two of them enjoying a quiet evening together. The peace was shattered when Clara's phone rang and she saw Claudia's number flashing on the screen. Claudia, what's going on? Clara asked, her voice tight with worry. Tom remembers Clara. He knows everything and he's out of control. He's going to come after all of us. I just know it. Clara felt a chill run down her spine. She looked at Jennifer, her eyes wide with fear. We have to do something. We can't let him get to us. Jennifer nodded, her face set with determination. We won't. Across town, Jill Robinson sat on the floor of her bathroom, her hands shaking as she clutched a small bag of drugs. Across town, she's flipping taking drugs. She had tried so hard to stay clean, but the weight of everything had pushed her to the edge. The drugs were a temporary escape, a way to numb the pain, but just as she was about to succumb, her phone rang, the sound jarring her out of her haze. She stared at it for a moment, the name Claudia blurring in her vision. With trembling hands, Jill answered. Claudia, Jill, it's Tom. He remembers. He's coming for us all, and we need to stop him. Jill's breath hits, the fear cutting through her fog of her eye. What do we do? Meet us at the old warehouse. We need to end this once and for all. Evie, meanwhile, was sitting with Sansa, the two of them talking quietly. The bond they had formed was one of the few bright spots in Evie's life, a source of comfort and strength. But that comfort was shattered when her phone rang. She saw Claudia's name and felt a knot of dread tighten in her stomach. Claudia, she answered, her voice tentative. Evie, it's Tom. He knows everything. He's gone crazy and we need to stop him before he does something worse. Evie's heart pounding in her chest. Where do we meet? The old Her House. Where we need everyone. Sansa looked at Evie with concern, but Evie just nodded, her face set with determination. Let's go. The women arrived at the old abandoned warehouse, one by one, their faces pale with fear but set with resolve. Claudia was already there, her eyes wide with terror, but there was a steady determination in her eyes as she spoke. This is it, Claudia said, her voice trembling but firm. We can't run from him anymore. We have to stop him. Shelby clenched her fist, anger boiling just beneath the surface. He'll never stop, not unless we make him. Clara nodded, her eyes cold. We've got to end this for good. Jill, still shaking from her near relapse, swallowed hard. What do we do? Evie looked around at the group, her voice steady as she spoke. What we should have done on Christmas Day. We make sure Tom Rodrigoz never forgets the day he messed with Melodrama Heights. The silence that followed was heavy, each woman understanding the gravity of what they were about to do. There was no turning back now. They had to end it, whatever the cost. As they stood there, the night dark and foreboding around them, they knew that one thing, Tom Rodrigoz had unleashed something he couldn't control, and now they were ready to make sure he would pay for it. To be continued. Oh my goodness. They're all gonna try and kill Tom Rodrigoz. Put an end to the villain, manipulative, evil man once. The principal of Melodrama Heights needs to go. Melodrama High. Oh my god, never. Bro, that is so crazy. He's gonna regret the day he ever messed with Melodrama Heights. Oh, it's Endgame. Endgame's coming. It's time for Tom Rodrigo's final stand. Who lives? Who dies? Oh my god. Tom Rodrigoz, the end is coming for you. Hopefully you die. Yo, it's by my girlfriend today, so this is what's going on. At the start of the week, Tom Rodrigoz observed Frankie Metcalf's growing sadness. What's he doing? She was clearly feeling neglected by her mother, Jennifer, who was overwhelmed with her own troubles. Frankie's loneliness was palpable, and Tom saw an opportunity. Tom approached Frankie in the school hallway, his face up. Not more. Why is he not? I'm going to take down her. I'm hoping. Hey, Frankie, you seem a bit off lately. Everything okay at home? Frankie, feeling isolated and in need of someone to talk to, hesitated but eventually opened up. It's just, my mum's always too busy. I feel like she doesn't really care about me anymore. Tom's expression softened with fiend empathy. I'm sorry you're feeling this way. It's tough when you don't feel noticed. Sometimes it helps to talk to someone who truly understands. Over the next few days, Tom made a point of being there for Frankie, offering her a listening ear and pretending to be her confidant. He complimented her and made her feel special, slowly gaining her trust. One afternoon, Tom suggested they talk in private, away from the rest of the school. He led Frankie to a secluded part of the school, a quietly lit doorway. As they talked, Tom's tone shifted from supportive to subtly manipulative. I know he's manipulating people to do the bad things. He positioned himself close to her, his words laden with false promises of understanding. You don't have to feel alone, he said. I'm here for you. Frankie, desperate for connection and validation, felt a sense of security. Tom's manipulative charm led her to believe he was genuinely caring, unaware of his true intentions. Frankie was drawn into his web of deceit, making her even more vulnerable to his... Bro, that's Jordan, Luke, and Frankie now. This manipulative, stupid, dumb story is actually getting annoying. Why the hell is everyone being manipulated by Principal Tom Rodrigoz? He's an abusive little rat. Right, oh my god, what's going on? Trenton wandered aimlessly through the night, his mind a whirlwind of confusion and despair as he stumbled down a deserted alley. He nearly collided with Tom Rodrigoz. Oh my god, wait, he met him in this there? Who had been watching from the shadows. Tom's eyes lit up with a predatory glint as he saw Trenton step. Trenton, what a surprise, he said smoothly, stepping into Trenton's path. You look like you're having a rough night. Trenton looked up, his face pale and distraught. Tom, I don't know what's real anymore. I just don't know how to deal with it. Tom feigned concern, placing a steady hand on Trenton's shoulder. I'm sorry to hear that. It must be incredibly hard. You know, in times like these, it's easy to feel lost, but you don't have to go through this alone. Trenton's eyes were unfocused, his emotions were vulnerable. I don't know what to do, he admitted, his voice cracking. Tom seized the opportunity to manipulate. You see, You need someone who understands what you're going through. I can help you and make sense of it all. Just follow my lead and I'll guide you through this mess. Triton, desperate for any form of support, nodded weakly. Tom's calm, assured demeanour seemed like a lifeline in his turbulent roar. As Tom guided him away, Triton's steps were unsteady, but his trust in Tom grew, unaware of the deeper manipulation awaiting him. Bro, Triton, how about you found out that Tom Rodrigoz was the one who called social services on you and made you lose baby Andrew? How about that? How about you find out how evil this man is and you're... That's 4 people manipulated by him. Of course, Claudia can't do nothing. She's busy. No wonder Matthew Rodrigoz turned out to be a serial killer. With a father like that... The flashback transported us to a dimly lit room in Tom Rodrigo's house, weeks before the Christmas Day chaos. We're flashback way far now. Claudia, clearly distressed, sat on the edge of a worn-out couch, her eyes downcast and her hands nervously clasped. Tom loomed over her, his demeanour shifting from calm to menacing. Claudia, you need to understand something, he said, his voice cold. You're not in control here. I make the rules. You see, he's in this abusing little rat, chap. This abuser. Claudia showed, and he's been here too long. Toby got his comeuppance. We don't even know what happened to him. He might be dead. But I mean, she needs to do this. She's technically dead on Christmas Day, but seriously, not good enough. Claudia's shoulders tensed as Tom's words sank in. She tried to protest, her voice trembling. Tom, please, this isn't right. I'm doing my best. Tom cut her off with a harsh tone. Your best isn't good enough. You need to learn your place. He stepped closer, his shadow enveloping her as he grabbed her arm roughly. I won't tolerate disobedience. You see this all right here? Claudia winced, trying to pull away. That's why she had the mental problems. Way back in like 2024. Remember? 2 years ago? That's why she went crazy. Holding people hostage. It's because of this bitch. Claudia winced, trying to pull away, but Tom's gripping. His control over her was evident in every angry word and forceful movement. His manipulation was psychotic. Remember, he was in prison. How did he get a job? I wonder why he was in prison. To break her through emotionally and physically. As Tom's abuse continued, Claudia's pleas for understanding were met with increasingly aggression. His menace was absolute. His threats escalated as he sought to maintain control. The once vibrant Claudia now appeared hollowed out, her spirit crushed under Tom's relentless abuse. The flashback ended with Claudia sitting in silence, the weight of Tom's abuse hanging heavy in the room. It was clear that his influence had deeply scarred her, setting the stage for the escalating complex to come soon. And then, of course, he was attacked on Christmas Day. Crazy. The scene opens at Melodrama High. Now dark and silent after hours, Luke, Frankie and Jordan cautiously make their way through the deserted hallways. Why are they there? They are tense, their breaths visible in the cold air of the empty school. They enter a classroom that has been converted into an office. Frankie with a look at Frankie with a look at determination finds a dusty old video recorder and turns it on. The screen flickers to life, showing a grainy recording of Tom Rodrigoz in his office, where he's seen abusing Claudia. The footage is unsettling, capturing Tom's abusive behaviour in shocking detail. Luke's eyes widen before. This is what we needed. We can use this to get Tom off our backs for good. Jordan nods, his face pale. We have to get this to the authorities right away. As they prepare to leave, a loud noise echoes through the hallway, making them freeze. The front door of the school creaks open and footsteps grow louder, coming closer. Luke peeks out of the classroom door and spots a figure approaching. Someone's coming. In a heart-stopping moment, Tom Rodrigoz appears at the end of the hallway. So this is after Claudia's where he went to Melodrama High. Appears that his face illuminated by the light from the entrance. He's glaring at them with a menacing expression. Thought you could hide this from me? Tom's voice is icy, filled with a dangerous calm. The trio's fears pupil as they realize they've been caught. Tom's imposing figure blocks their only exit, and the video evidence in their possession could be their only hope of exposing him. The scene closes with a dramatic shot of Tom Rodrigoz standing in the doorway. The camera zooming in on the cold, threatening gaze. The tension is unbearable as the trio is left to face their nemesis with the crucial evidence in hand. To be continued. Oh God! Guys, we're back. The scene resumes with Tom Rodrigoz standing menacingly in the doorway of the classroom. Luke, Frankie and Jordan are trapped inside. Their faces reflect, I told you the manipulation story finally coming to an end. Their faces reflect a mix of fear and determination. Tom steps into the room, locking the door behind him with a loud echoing click. He's locked them in. Tom's expression is one of cold satisfaction. You're not going anywhere until I'll deal with this. He turns to leave, but as he strides down the hallway, he suddenly slips on a wet pipe that has been hidden behind a stack of boxes. He crashes to the ground with a thud, cursing under his breath. The camera zooms in on the pipe. What's going on? Which is now visibly leaking gas. Oh God. The faint hissing sound is almost drowned out by the commotion. Tom scrambles to his feet, ignoring the gas leak as he hurries away. His footsteps fade into the distance. Inside the classroom, Luke, Frankie and Jordan are frantically trying to find a way out. They hear the sound of the pipe and the faint smell of gas starting to smoke through the floors. It's early morning, Frankie says. Jordan tries to force the door open, but it's no use. We're stuck. It's Saturday and there's nobody coming in. There's no other way out. Luke grabs a nearby fire extinguisher, trying to break the window to escape. The gas continues to leak, filling the room with a dangerous and flammable haze. The urgency of the situation prevails as the trio works desperately to escape. As they struggle, the scene cuts back to Tom, who's oblivious to the danger he's left behind. He's making his way back to his office, his mind focused on silencing any potential threats. The gas leak intensifies, the ticking clock adding to the motion tension. The camera turns to the classroom, showing the trio as they brace themselves against the growing danger. The gas is now thick and the risk of an explosion is imminent. The scene ends with the classroom door still locked, the gas thickening and the trio's frantic efforts to escape becoming increasingly desperate. The looming threat of an explosion adds a dire cliffhanger to the situation. Bro, stop it! Are we having an explosion at Melodrama High? The free thing, Tom Rodrigoz is there, Samson's going to go there, the authorities are going to go there. Remember that we're going to have all the 5 women going there. Are we going to have a big bomb? Gas leak. My God, so he tripped over, hit a leak. Well, that was funny, he fell, but still, that caused my girlfriend's death. Oh my God, to be continued. Guys, we're back. Seriously, stuff's going down. The scene opens with an early morning light casting long shadows over Melodrama High. The once bustling school is now eerily quiet, but the camera's deceptive. The camera pans to the wrecked prison van, crumbled and abandoned just outside the school's perimeter. The crash site is littered with debris. Inside the van, Frank and Christos are injured but still conscious. They exchange worried glances as they hear the distant sound of sirens approaching. Realizing their escape is compromised, they struggle outside the van and make their way towards the school. Wait, they're at the school! The scene cuts to the outside of Melodrama High, where the 5 women, Shelby, Clara, Jennifer, Jill and Evie, arrive in a hurry. Their expressions grim as they prepare to confront Samson. The school is dark and seemingly deserted, adding to the tension. Shelby, her face set in determination, leads the group towards the entrance. This is it. We end this now. As they approach the doors, the sound of sirens grow louder, signaling that the police are closing in. The women push through the entrance, unaware of the chaos unfolding inside. Inside the school, Tom Rodrigoz arrives just before them and is now confronting the 3 trapped kids, Luke, Frankie and Jordan. The gas leak from the damaged pipe fills the air, adding a dangerous urgency to the situation. Tom, realizing the stakes, glares at the kids. You shouldn't have come here. Now you're trapped just like everyone else. Frank and Christos burst through a side door, seeking refuge in the shadows. They see Tom and the kids and quickly realize the situation's gravity. They attempt to find a hiding spot, hoping not to be noticed. Outside, the police vehicles arrive, their lights flashing and sirens blaring. Officers rush to secure the area, their voices urgent as they try to access the situation. The tension inside the school is palpable. The women confront Tom, their faces mix of thing. Where's Samson? Shelby demands. Tom smirks. The gas leaked. What do you mean? What do you mean, Samson? Tom says. What? He doesn't know. The scene cuts back to Frank and Christos, who are hiding behind a stack of desks. Their faces pale as they watch the unfolding chaos. Christos whispers, we need to get out of here before it's too late. The camera zooms to show the chaotic scene at Melodrama High. The 5 women confronting Tom, the kids trapped with a gas leak, and Frank and Christos trying to evade detection. The approaching police add to the sense of urgency and impending disaster to calm before the storm. Oh my God, next episode will be the big stunt. Oh my God, this is it. All hell's about to break loose. Tom Rodrigoz stepped out of the taxi and made his way up the familiar path. Welcome home, Tom Rodrigoz. Is he an abuser? Guys, we're back. As the students of Melodrama High gathered in the auditorium for a special assembly, whispers filled the air, anticipation mounted as they awaited the announcement of their new principal. Tom Rodrigoz! Now standing before them as the newly appointed principal. Tom Rodrigoz is the principal of Melodrama High. Are you kidding me? He's so evil! His eyes lingered on Jordan Robinson. There was potential there, he thought, a spark of leadership waiting to be ignited. In their private conversations, Tom carefully crafted his words, subtly feeding Jordan's ambition. Hence showdown at Melodrama High. Jill confronted Tom Rodrigoz. Oh my god. Her voice quivering with a mix of anger and concern as she accused him of manipulating her son. On his lips. Tom Rodrigoz, what is he playing at now? Consumed by his maleficent schemes, moved with purpose as he carefully placed a small package of drugs amidst the foliage. His eyes gleamed with mystery intent as he imagined the chaos that would ensue once his plan comes to fusion. News of his firing echoes in his mind, a bitter reminder of the consequences of his reign of terror. The cost of Jordan's decision remained to be seen. Jordan Robinson, what are you doing? The feeling that he had just taken the first step down a very dangerous path. Oh, you have. Look, you have. Oh, God! No use. We're stuck. It's Saturday and there's nobody coming in. There's no other way out.
When's getting banged up, it's you. You're a child snatcher. And you know what happens to people like you inside. You will be put in isolation 23 hours a day with your own thoughts. No visitors, because you screwed your own family over. Make me see Peggy, and I swear to God, you will never lay eyes on him. Never. He is not your son.
What happened at the pub? I am clueless right now. What happened at the pub on Christmas Day? That's what happened. So they attacked Malone, or Tom Rodrigoz and things. So they're going to say that Malone attacked Tom, so that gets him away when he survives probably. And then with Malone missing, it'll be like he ran away. Oh, that's actually really good. Make their way to Melodrama High under the cover of darkness. With trembling hands, they lower Malone's lifeless body into the makeshift grave, covering him with dirt until he is concealed from view. One night has changed everything. The 5 women gathered in the dimly lit corridors of Melodrama High. Panic gripped the 5 women as they exchanged nervous glances, their minds racing with fear and uncertainty. With Tom Rodrigoz on the brink of consciousness, the looming threat of his memory returning sent shivers down their spines. The scene unfolds in the grand living room of Evie and Sansa's mansion. The scene shifts to a high-stakes atmosphere at the police station. Detective Harper, a seasoned investigator, sits at his desk, reviewing paperwork. His phone rings and he answers with a terse. Harper. The voice on the other end is Tampa urgent. Detective, I've got information that you need to hear. I'm in possession of something curious. Harper's interesting. Who is this? It's Samson! Oh my god, it's about to actually set him up. It reads aloud, her voice trembling. If you want the murder weapon back, meet me at Melodrama High tomorrow morning. Don't be late, S. Right guys, we're back. Clara's hands tremble as she carefully measures out the poison. Oh my god. Guys, we're back. On the first day, the poison takes its toll on Toby. A slow and traceable poison was carefully measured and stirred into Toby's food. Christos looked at Frank with an intensity that made Frank's pulse quicken. Come with me, Christos said, his voice laced with urgency. We need to talk somewhere more secure. Frank hesitated, casting a worried glance around the prison yard. And where exactly do you plan on going? Christos' smirk deepened. To a place where our conversation won't be overheard. I have a plan, but it needs to be kept super quiet until it's ready to be put into motion. Frank leaned against the wall, his eyes fixed on Christos. So what's the plan? Christos began pacing, his demeanour one of a circulated calculated excitement. I've been working on this scheme to get out, and I need someone on the inside to help me execute it. You're that someone. There's a gap in the security system that I've identified, but it requires insider knowledge and cooperation. Frank listened intensely, his mind racing with the implications. And what do you need from me specifically? Crystal stopped pacing and faced Frank directly. I need you to create a diversion, something that will draw attention away from the real escape route. To get out of here now, this was not the plan. Did you expect a prison van crash?
On the corner of Main Street, just trying to keep it in line. You say you wanna move on, and you say I'm falling behind. Can you read my mind? Can you read my mind? Never really gave up on breaking out of this two-star town. I got the green light, I got a little fight. I'm gonna turn this thing around. Can you read my mind? Can you read my mind? The good old days, the honest man, the restless heart, the promised land, a subtle kiss that no one sees, a broken wrist and a picture piece. So I don't mind if you don't mind, 'cause I don't shine if you don't shine. Before you go,
Boss, it's time we make our move.
it's funny how you just break down, waiting on some sign. I pull up to the front of your driveway with magic soaking my spine. Can you read my mind? Can you read my
Guys are back, and it's officially full on stunt mode. The scene opens with an early light. The scene is flurry of activity at Melodrama High. Inside, the tension is at its peak. The five women, Shelby, Clark, Jill, Evie, and Mother, are facing Tom Rodrigoz, who stands menacingly in front of the three trapped kids, Luke, Frankie, and Jordan. The gas leak is becoming more pronounced, and the air is thick with a dangerous flammable haze. Outside, police officers rushing to secure the perimeter. Their radios cracking with urgent command. There's sound of the things. Tom, you need to let them go. There's a gas leak. This whole place could blow. Tom's expression remains cold and I'm not going anywhere until I've dealt with you all. Unbeknownst to the group inside, Frank and Christos are sneaking through the darkened hallways, trying to find an exit while avoiding detection. They pass through the school's central boiler room, where Christos accidentally knocks over a canister. The sound of metal clang across. The camera cuts to the boiler room, showing the canister leaking flammable material. The scene intensifies as the flames mix with the gas that has been leaking through the school. The air is thick with thing. Back in the main corridor, Shelby's eyes start nervously. We need to get everyone out now. Just as she finished speaking, a large sharp explosion from the boiler room. The shockwave shakes the building. The force of the blast sends debris flying and causes a massive fireball to burst through the walls. The camera captures the shot and horror on everyone's faces as the explosion rips through the school. Windows shatter and the structure begins to collapse. Flames and smoke pour on the gasping holes in the wall. Tom's expression changes to her as he realizes the full extent of danger. The kids and the women are thrown into chaos, struggling to find their thing as they're thrown across as rubble collapses on them. Frank and Christos, caught in the black, are thrown back against the wall, falling down the stairs. The scramble. The final shot zooms out to show Melodrama High in flames, with emergency vehicles arriving just as the building collapses into the ruins. The screen fades. Who lives? Who dies? Show the explosion now! continues. Holy crap. Samson is dead, I'm pretty sure, so that's the end for him. So, let's see what's going on. Claudia stands in the smouldering wreckage of Melodrama High, battered and bruised from the explosion, but her resolve is unshakable. The years of torment, manipulation and abuse have all led to this moment, facing Tom Rodrigoz, the man who has haunted her life and the lives of so many others. Tom lies trapped under a heavy beam, bloodied but still defiant, his eyes burning with that twisted desire for control. Even though as he struggles to breathe, he tries to manipulate her, his voice a hoarse whisper. Claudia, he croaks, extending a bloody hand towards her. You need me. You can't do this without me. Help me and we can. Claudia cuts him off, her voice trembling with a mixture of rage and disgust. You're the reason everything fell apart, Tom. You twisted everything good in my life and destroyed the lives of everyone around you. You hurt so many people. Trenton, of course, calling social services. Frankie, Jordan, look, me. You made me feel like I was losing my mind, like I was the one going crazy, but you were the real monster all along. You tell him, Claudia. Tom's eyes narrow, but Claudia doesn't stop. She's waited too long for this moment. She's sticking up to him. You think I didn't see what you were doing? You ruined lives for your sick game. You planted drugs to get Jill Robinson addicted again, knowing it would break her. You manipulated her sons, Jordan and Luke, playing them against each other, making them question everything. You wanted to destroy them just like you destroyed me. Tom's face twists in anger, but Claudia's fury is unstoppable. And then there's Frankie, Claudia says, her voice rising with emotion. You think I didn't notice how you looked at her, how you touched her? If I could say... He did that. Yeah, kill him, please. Manipulator tried to seduce her. She was just a girl, Tom, vulnerable and looking for someone to trust. And you... Her voice cracks as she presses on. You saw her as something to control, to dominate. You preyed on her weakness, just like you preyed on everyone else's. Tom silences admission. But Claudia isn't finished. And then Christmas Day, you were abusing me, manipulating all of us, trying to tear us apart. You tried to take everything from me. My sanity, my friends, my dignity. You even got Jill addicted again just to hurt her family. You ruined Jordan's life, Luke's life, Trenton's life, and you touched Frankie. You crossed every line. And for what? To satisfy your sick, twisted desires? Claudia's eyes fall on a heavy stapler lying nearby. Half buried in the rubble, she picks it up, her hands shaking but determined. She steps closer to Tom, standing over him, the years of pain, fear and anger boiling to the surface. You destroyed so many lives, Tom, but it ends now, she says, her voice steady and cold. Tom's eyes widen in fear as he realizes what's about to happen. Claudia don't. But Claudia doesn't hesitate. She brings the stapler down with all her strength she has left. The first blow cracks against his skull. She's killing him. With a sickening thud, Tom cries out in pain, but Claudia doesn't stop. She hits him again, each strike fueled by years of suffering and rage. You made me feel like I was nothing, she screams as he brings the stapler down again. You tried to take Frankie, you ruined Trenton's life, you manipulated Jordan and Luke, you destroyed Jill and you nearly drove me insane. That's why she was insane all those years ago. The sound of the stapler smashing against bone echoes through the wreckage, drowning out Tom's feeble cries. Finally he goes still, his blood boiling. She kills him, down around his head. Claudia doesn't stir-ups the stapler, her hands trembling uncontrollably. She stares down at Tom's lifeless body. No, her heart pounding in her chest. She's free, but the weight of everything she's done and everything he's done still presses heavily on her. The distant sound of sirens reaches her ears, but she doesn't move. She stands there frozen. The realization of what she's just done washing over her. Tom Rodrigoz, the man who ruined so many lives, is dead. Oh my God! Tom Rodrigoz is... I'm sorry, W. Claudia. Smashing him over. That even he was one of the... And he touched my girlfriend. You touched Frankie? Maybe a new story for her. You're... Oh my God. The end of Tom. I thought we'd never see the end of Tom Rodrigoz, but I felt that this is the thing to kill him off or get rid of him. You know, he was either going there or going to jail. It was one or the other. Wow. Well, death was the easiest way for him. He didn't deserve prison. Prison was too easy for him. Death was the easy thing for him. He deserved, especially a cruel death. Well, what she should have done would actually leave him there to die, because he would have died from the beam on her. But she got the stapler and she smashed it over his head continuously, about 5 times, bang, then killed him against his skull. Wow. W. Claudia. The end of Tom Rodrigoz.